Yes, karibuni. I want to discuss about defeating Ruto, and it looks like formula ya kushinda Ruto iko, and I think people are very positive on what is needed to be done actually, including some of the people who come here to contribute to us, and I thank God because hiyo positivity ni kama sasa imeanzia kuongezeka. So there is positivity and boldness. Yeah, even as Ruto has been pretending ya kwamba hakuna mtu anaweza mshinda kwa uchaguzi, but frankly speaking kuna positivity mzuri sana, and we need to appreciate that positivity because people being positive is halfway a win. As long as watu they believe, you know, in this life things start with the belief. As long as you believe you can make it, you're always there. Yeah, so wow. Yeah, so nataka kuanzia na video ya Comfort. Somebody who comes in this show actually shared with me that video of Comfort, and Comfort ameongea vizuri sana kwa TV. Yeah, so I think Comfort was being interviewed by another podcast than ours, na ameongea vizuri sana, so huyo ndiye nitaanzia na yeye. So let me see, the show is called what? Then I mirror it here for you. Karibuni sana. Yeah, na muingie kipindi. I was in here later during the day. Yeah, lakini nilikuwa kwa kazi. Na please ukiingia and you want to subscribe us, please usi. I also want to share some experiences ya ile mambo good hata yeye mwenyewe ameshare na mimi. Comfort is sharing with me her show, how we will defeat Ruto in 2027, Mrs. Comfort Mwangi. So let me begin with Mrs. Comfort Mwangi. Yeah, Madam Gimwa. Yeah, how we will defeat Ruto, Mrs. Comfort Mwangi. So tunaanzia hapo. She is one of us na anakujanga hapa. I think she was able to get a much bigger audience, and ndiye huyu. Hata sikufikirianga anakuanga mrembo hivi, anajifungua kabisa, anajirembesha kabisa. Unajua saa zingine when we are speaking here hatukuange tukijua wenzetu wetu wako namna gani. All I know is that she's a nice lady who has been coming here, and I think now her visibility is increasing. Ukianzia kuona now. So Comfort has done a wonderful interview. I don't know issue inaitwaje, we will do. Sijaisikiliza, so tutasikiliza na nyinyi. Then after tumemalizana na Comfort, then tutaleta vitu zingine. So I want us to begin. Comfort is very positive. She believes we can defeat Ruto, and let's listen. She is one of our own. Tunamuonanga hapa.
Of interest. It came out last year. Yeah, last year. And I was wondering, where did this come from? And from who? When the government is doing business with itself. Yeah. We're employing people, even the MPs, they're all into the tender businesses. They're all doing business with themselves. Even the Safaricom is compromised. The CPI, the Corruption Perspective Index, 179. Kenya is 127. And we're the ones vetting them. Yeah. You know, it's like, how. So we are so corrupt, we're also vetting the worst corrupt people. So the really corruptors, too corrupt, you know, that kind of, it's not phobia, the facts are facts. You have to separate that they are good people. There are some Somalis that are okay. Open borders to another country, you're driving them nuts. It's just a matter of time. They're going to block us from everywhere. Yeah. You cannot have that. I'm serious. Even like going to the US, try and do that if you're given limited time. And then you go there, now you can come to Kenya and become a citizen, just like citizen. I feel there's a sort of silence. But that silence, in democracy, when there's that kind of a silence.
Yeah, huyu ni Madam Comfort Mwangi. She really had an explosive interview in this show. Nataka tu tumsikilize as I wait for other people to come as well so that we can diffuse. So these are some of us now wameanzia kufika kwa vituo kubwa kubwa. Yeah, maybe very soon nitaona wengine wenu pia mkiwa pale pengine na tunakuja. Unajua saa zingine vile mnaongea kwa hizo vipindi kubwa sio vile mnaongea hapa. So but wacha Madam Comfort aongee, then I will percolate on it.
It means that democracy is failing. The Gen Z, they came out so strong. For me, I know they already took the government, in my opinion. When I turn on, what I see in opposition is when they all stand in a group and make a statement. You know, if you're a lion, you don't call a meeting, you just roar. You need to be roaring,
yes,
and going all over the place. But I feel these 14 million need a different change. I would say sometimes some statements, sometimes mental health is also real. You know, because look here.
Great to see you. Hello there, and welcome to this particular platform, a platform that is dedicated to speaking about what matters. What matters is we need to focus a little bit less on politicians and focus more on ourselves. Focus on ideologies. What actually matters is our future. And my conversation today is all about that. An aerial view of Kenya from the diaspora. You know, the diaspora are watching. They remit so much to this country. And they want people who can help the money that they bring back to the country, help the Kenyans that they actually help. Now, the conversation today is someone who ran for office in Muranga. Probably you've seen her before. Also, she's a policy advisor, governance expert, a diaspora leader. And she talks to me once in a while to get to see what the diasporas are thinking about our leadership. Comfort Mwangi, Grace, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
I'm so happy to see you, so happy that you're back in the country. You can let me know what is happening. How is the mood?
Before when I mentioned that, congratulations. I like your new channel.
Thank you.
And first of all, so your cameraman, it's so clear. Yes. I feel like I'm seeing you in 3D. Yeah, but good job. I like what you're doing, and keep it up. Yes, and nice to see you again.
What is the mood, Maju?
Right now, many things are bombarding us. You know, we have the Minnesota issue. Then we also have, you know, we are thinking so much about what can happen in terms of our passport, because most of them pass through here before coming to the US. So we just hear the money's in Kenya. They need to go back to Kenya.
Yeah.
So we're watching, following. That's the story we're following right now.
Let's start with this, corruption.
Yeah.
Auditor General comes up with reports after reports, missing funds, talk about housing, talk about Safaricom, talk about what? You're thinking, are we able to deal with this corruption issue? You know, we've talked about it for long. And every single time I talk about corruption, it's as if, you know, we're just wasting time. Let me ask you this. What do you think about the president or Kenya Kwanza regime when it comes to dealing with graft? Billions are getting lost.
Well, when you say they get lost, first of all, also blame Kenyans. We seem to describe every scandal. We describe and say, imagine the what do you call it? The bills that have no pending bills. There's 680 something billion. Imagine, then you go to sleep, you wake up. Imagine capitation has not 3.7 hasn't reached the schools.
Yes.
Imagine 3.7 billion has gone to ghost schools. Ghost students are being paid for, and the real ones are at home. But it's that acceptance of every day, it piles up. It makes it so easy to go on. I'd like to commend Miss Nancy, yes. She does a very great job because she tells us as it is, and then it's up to us to decide. So when we hear that we have all these billions missing and they're not traceable, it gets worrying. Because we thought that, you know, we have people who would spring and give us some feedback. We don't get that. And yet another scandal comes up. So where does this money actually go? Because that's our money. It comes from our taxes. Yes.
So when you look at EACC, the judiciary, when it comes to this, because cases are actually being taken. There are a lot of people being prosecuted. And I want to know from your experience or from the diaspora perspective, when it comes to them dealing with this, how can we become better as a country?
Well, I can say, for example, when I watched the EACC, I call it the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, they seem to select what crimes to follow, because they're supposed to also make sure that they're overseeing how let's say the president, the executive,
Yes.
overseeing how the power is being used, how the money is flowing, and that part, they don't follow it up. Yet it's almost clear that it's the backs end to the president, and that's where the corruption is starting. So I feel they're not doing their job. But even if we see in the papers people are arrested, we don't see anybody in jail. Have you seen somebody in jail?
No.
Have you? Just tell me, have you?
We only saw Ferdinand 22.
Yes, but now is he still in jail?
No.
Yeah, it seems, but those people without money, I keep saying, are the ones who are in jail. So we see that the corruption, the cost is so low. It becomes normalized. You do it, almost now they're doing each other. I'm taking 50 billion again away with it. I feel corruption is across the board. We have the IPOA. They are also somehow corrupt because they decide who to follow. They're supposed, they might gas Mr. Gashagwa. The police line up there. They refuse him to participate as an opposition. Yet somebody else flies all over the place. EACC is supposed to make sure the president doesn't use public funds to fly all over those places and start campaigning. Then we have IBC that doesn't stop the president to start campaigning. We've had 3 years of everything going down, just everything going down. And then now, suddenly, he starts campaigning for the next 2 years. So we feel as a country, the corruption is killing the country. People are not getting treated. Schools are closed. So everything has gone down, in my opinion.
I'll ask you a question about, are we normalizing billions? We think billions is a kidogo, but I know you're wondering why we are in this location. There are clothes all over me. I am looking spectacular today. I know you're wondering. I wanted you to wonder kidogo, but we are at Dapa Drip Collections here at Kobo Square in Lavington, next to Quickmart, and we are saying that we have shirts, we have suits, we have shoes, we have belts, we have everything for men. And my thinking is, if you're around Lavington or you are wherever you are, they deliver suits where you are. You can come by at Kobo Square, second floor, Dapa Drip Collections. You can visit their social media platforms. You can see more. And if you happen to pass by, we might meet and probably have a show with you here at Dapa Drip Collections. That's why I'm looking great. You can see the variety of clothes that are around. So you pass by Dapa Drip Collections, and then you can be able to look as good as me. The prices are affordable, not that affordable, but affordable, so that you look unique and you look great. Have we normalized billions?
I'm telling you, what's a billion? 1,000 millions, lining them up in a country where you can still buy milk for 2 or 100 shillings. Can you imagine that? So it is an incredible amount of money to go missing in our coffers. And yet, basically, you see what Jinji did?
Yes.
With just 192 million from his money. He's able to do that in his county. Think of billions being going away from our coffer. Should those kids still be at home, not working? Why don't they even take those billions? And when you hear that pending bills are not being paid, that those are hospitals are not being paid, contractors not being paid. Then you hear Kenyatta Hospital, our wing is closed down because they can't pay. Hospitals are closing important sections of the hospital. They're being closed down because of the pending bills. They're crippled. You've crippled the system, stealing in billions. They've actually still, 10 million. 10 million. But then you go and grab 50 billion. And you think what that can do for the schools, the hospitals, for all of us, it's unbelievable.
Because even the Auditor General says 40.2 billion up from payment, we might risk being shortchanged when it comes to Safaricom's stake. She's talking about accountability gaps, 19.6 billion World Bank loan. She's talking about Kenya Mortgage Refinance, 9.8, 18.9, these are millions. We have normalized.
You've normalized it. And then the funny thing is, like, here I am, I'm stealing. But guess what? I'm going to pass a bill for conflict of interest. Yeah. Conflict of interest. It came out last year.
Yeah, last year.
And I was wondering, where did this come from? And from who? When the government is doing business with itself. Yeah. We're employing people, even the MPs, they're all into the tender businesses. they're all doing business with themselves. Even the Safaricom is compromised because those are the government people. They can set the price, buy it at this price.
Yes, and we're hearing even the banks, who owns which banks that are doing businesses.
Yes, even here our money probably passes through somebody's bank, and then it is, they make money out of it. Then you put a bill of conflict of interest. It's a bit messed up. I don't know, it's like I'm going to steal this, but I'm putting a law against it. If somebody is caught with drugs, I'm going to nyonga you. Then we're seeing drugs moving in our airport. We're seeing drug barons being put in government. I don't know, I didn't say names, but I'm just saying it's like a game. It's almost like mutadu. That's how I feel. They're making these rules, they're stealing in billions, they're doing business amongst themselves, and yet we're there suffering as a nation.
Yeah, we will continue listening. So that one is Madam Comfort. So, Bwana Belfast, do you know Madam Comfort? Belfast? Belfast hataki kuongea. Wacha Comfort aendelee.
Of course, we'll talk about Singapore, we'll talk about Gen Zs, what I do. But there's the issue of terrorism in the country, and you've talked about what the diaspora community is feeling when it comes to safety here in Kenya. There are chiefs that were kidnapped last year in Mandera, took some time before they came back. There's a conversation about RSF, not RSF, but Jubaland forces that were here in Mandera, and everyone was thinking, are they invading our country? From where you sit, and when you come back to Kenya, what do you think about our security in the country, and even internal security, where kids are being kidnapped, etc.?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Well, I know when I was here in February.
Are you audible? Georgina, it is not audible. Ama ni aje? No. Okay. So, Bwana Neutral. Neutral? Neutral ni kama anisikii. Wacha niweke simu nisikie. Ama ni mimi sisikii. Let me just confirm the voice from my phone. Video commute. Oi. Ngoja kidogo ni confirm hapa. Let's confirm. I can hear myself. I can hear myself.
It's when we're discussing the vetting of our brothers, the Somalis who are really Somalis in Kenya. They've not been vetted to get the IDs, but they've been in Kenya. They've been kind of marginalized there. But that was a process to take part in Northeastern. So now when you open the papers and you find like 20 pictures there of people from immigration, people for fingerprinting, ID people, and then we're told that the whole machinery is found in people's houses. You can get genuine passports, genuine IDs in a house somewhere here in Nairobi. Yet, so that freaks us out.
The suspects among them officials from the National Registration Bureau, clerical staff from the Directorate of Immigration, assistant chiefs, technicians, businessmen and clearance brokers were arrested at different locations within Nairobi's Kamukunji and Eastleigh areas over the weekend. After the DCI unearthed an organized system where government documents were being issued fraudulently after money had exchanged hands. At the center of the allegations is the issuance of identity cards, birth certificates, and passports to foreigners. According to the DCI, the suspects have now been running the network for months now.
I thought this is only in movies.
No, it's here. It's in your newspapers. We saw it. You didn't see it?
Am I audible? Wale wananisikiliza. Belfast, are you there? Belfast, are you there? So your video comfort munasikia because Georgina. Okay.
Yes, I'm listening, but I'm not responding. I just want to.
Oh, but is the video
I have
playing?
issues in comfort. The way she's explaining some of these things, but I broadly agree with her. But let us just listen the flow of the conversation.
Yeah, it was there. The immigration, some people, they actually put there with their names in the newspaper headlines. People from the immigration office and other people, brokers, they found all those things in people's houses. Fingerprinting, get the ID, get the passport. We don't know who are those people getting that. Yes, but if it is, we agree that yes, the president passed for the people out there. But we also wondered why. Why now, would you want people to enter the country with very little vetting? So now, when we in the diaspora see that, when talk of corruption, we are affected because right now, when you carry a passport, you're carrying the reputation of that country.
Yes.
When you carry a passport, you're actually carrying the reputation of that country. I'm a Kenyan. Then when you turn on the TV, you're seeing the Somali Kenyans who are doing this. And yet those Somalis, I saw somebody saying that we should not have paranoia about them.
Yeah.
The Somali Kenyans in Somali, they don't even identify with blacks, even with black Americans. They don't believe they're black. They say they're Cushites, they're Arabs. Okay? Yeah, that's what they say. But now the crimes they have done there, the FBI already here, they're tracing the money here to Kenya. All the neighboring countries, their passports. They can no longer go to the US just easily. Only Kenya.
Yes.
But now this scandal that has come up, this is what is now troubling us as diaspora. We're just watching from outside in. We're also anxious.
But when you speak that way, people think you are Somaliphobic. And this is the conversation that we're having in the country. Anytime we question some of the implementations that are taking place, it's as if we are Somaliphobic or Islamophobic.
No, Somali, they have clans, they're different clans. Okay? That's why they don't have a functioning country because they all fight each other. Somali, let's say we're 182 countries. Somali is 179, most corrupt. The CPI, the Corruption Perspective Index, 179. Kenya is 127, and we are the ones vetting them.
Yeah.
It's like how. So we are so corrupt. We're also vetting the worst corrupt people. So the really corrupt is too corrupt. That kind of. It's not phobia. The facts are facts. You have to separate that. They are good people. There are some Somalis that are okay. We have grown up with them. We've been with them here. Why are they then how are they getting those other passports to leave the country? We know there's Dabab. Dabab was just like a channeling place for there were real refugees and there were those who are using that aspect to go to the US. So when you see that happening in the US, the Minneapolis, Trump has removed the protective status, the temporary, it's called TPS, temporary protective status that helped them get the passports and visas to go there. But that was 30 years ago. So the Americans are saying 30 is not temporary. So that was removed. Then Trump took it at a higher notch. By March 17, he has said all Somalis must leave. Somalis. And where are they going to leave? Our name is lingering there because they're saying Somali. They're going to go to Kenya. The money has been traced to Kenya. You cannot say that the Somalis we grew up with, the people we've been doing business with in the regular Isili that we knew, or in Pangani or here, yes, can suddenly have 12 streets in Isili with high rises. And then we hear South C, South B. And then we don't just keep quiet, but we know that then there are billions of taxpayers' money from the US that has come here. So we can't say it's phobic, it is fact.
So what should we do now that we have, the vetting gone, the borders open, people believe it's for political reasons. What should we do as a country?
That is the weakest point that we have, that anybody can be here. You talked about kids disappearing because we don't know who's in the country. If I was a pedophile in Europe, or not even Europe, within Africa, I'll come here. I'll come in, I'm given maybe 2 or 3 months to stay here. But nobody really checked who I was. And then I rent an Airbnb. So many things are happening, but we cannot really know exactly what's happening to the individuals. So people are saying kids are missing, people are being killed. Yeah, so the sovereignty of a country is very important, and that is borders. As diaspora can tell you, you go and try and get a visa for any country. The questions you'll be asked, are you going to maintain yourself there for 30 days? How? Prove it. Who are you going to stay with so they can be able to find you? You don't just enter people's countries like that, so freely.
What is our state when you talk about sovereignty, the word sovereignty? What is our state as a country when you look at the respect that we hold out there, and when you look at some of the things that we're looking at and we're saying they need to end?
Kenya is a great country. People respect Kenya a lot. A lot of good things come out from this country. But the trajectory we're having based on governance and these open borders to another country, you're driving them nuts. It's just a matter of time. They're going to block us from everywhere. Yeah. You cannot have that. I'm serious. Even like going to the US, try and do that. If you're given limited time, and then you go there, now you can come to Kenya and become a citizen, just like citizen. When we were getting our IDs in Kenya, the chief had to sign for you. You talked about the kidnapped chiefs. Maybe they were going to do a quick job over there to sign up for people to get the IDs. I don't know, because they came back a bit, they added weight. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Speculation. But I'm saying that the chief had to know us. They ask, what school did you go to? They know your parents, then you get that ID. Now, if you cannot even speak Swahili at the age of 30 and you're getting a Kenyan passport, where have you been? And you've been saying you're living in Kenya. Who are you?
Those are the questions.
Those are the questions. So Kenya, we really need to understand who's coming into our border. I know the neighboring country, Tanzania, she was able to remove, she's blocking herself out. So those are the things we need to work on as a country. We need to have, if we have good borders, strong borders, people cannot just come in, because also when they come in, we have unfair competition in trade. How are you able to go to a shop and the retail price is less than a wholesale shop down the road? Sure. How can you compete with them? Everybody will come to your shop, then I'll have to close mine. Yes. So slowly you own all the shops. And then you say it's hardworking, you're very hardworking.
Imagine your private practice a year from today. What's different?
I get to help people who couldn't access therapy before without losing my data.
When we talk about Gen Zs, because you're talking about kidnappings, and the people who are being kidnapped were young people. And the conversation in the country is, for change to happen, young people need to vote. And when you look at the IBC registrations, everyone is thinking, will these people actually vote in 2027? The protests were there in 2024, 2025. Some people are talking about a political party needs to be formed that is Gen Z based. What is your thinking about Gen Z taking power, or actually giving power to the right people, in comparison to what you're seeing abroad, where young people actually participated in the last election of Trump versus Kamala?
I would say that Gen Z, they are 14 million strong. And I feel there's a sort of silence. But that silence, in democracy, when there's that kind of a silence, it means that democracy is failing. The Gen Z, they came out so strong. For me, I know they already took the government, in my opinion. They did. They were the strongest Gen Z I have seen across the world in terms of their resilience and the unitedness and the force. They were frustrated. They got out. Protests, is just a signal that things are not working. You then don't go and say, "No, I'm going to make a law." If you on social media do this and this, that is their public square. That's where the Gen Zs meet. That's where they learn things. That's where they share. That's where they talk. That's where they earn money. Also, like, you have also your digital platform. You cannot. I feel like there's a silence, a small withdrawal. But I'd like to tell the Gen Z that they were very successful, and they were lucky that we've had Gen Zs also change countries, but get out into a protest and really make a change. Yeah. But it was temporary. They came out just like of the Gen Zs here in Algeria or Egypt or Nepal. But those countries, they were able even to go, some of them up to the State House, so to say. But those countries did not have the structures underneath. The countries that have been successful, the journeys that have been successful, have had structures working. And Kenya, our structures were there. When they were doing the protests, we could still go to court. We had a media that could still cover them. It was functioning. So all they need to do now, Gen Z, is to use their strength. That 14 million strong is to vote. Because protests, protests open the door. But voting is what allows who go in.
Yes, for sure.
So the protests have happened. Now, if they don't vote, they need to vote who they need. They'll walk in, and they'll now start growing from the inside out.
Do you think Gen Zs will vote this time? From your assessment, you look at this, what is happening in the country, you look at the by-elections that happened. Do you think people will turn up to vote?
Yes, I'm thinking there's a way we have a solution. I'm thinking of something. The Gen Zs and the Gen Zs in Kenya, because they know the ground, we've seen their strength, their power, and their presence in the digital space. Then we have the Gen X, that is us, the Gen X in the US. We have got the money, the experience, the mobility, and the torch. Torches. And we also have that torch to Milika to see that the world, anything happening here, we can really amplify it. So we can have a very good synergy where we have the Gen Zs here in Kenya working together with the Gen X out there. Our Gen X here in Kenya, just keep our children, because they're the ones who are footing the bills in their houses, Make sure their minds are fine. Take care of them. Us, we've had 25, 30 years experience out there. We've got the ideas, we've got some extra money. We know how to access. And then we know if there's trouble, tutamulika, and we'll help them. Then we, in the Gen X in the diaspora, on average, we have got 2 Gen Zs in our homes. These are people who can even tell one of the superstars, they want to shut down the internet in Kenya. Within minutes, we have Starlinks all over in Kenya. So if we get a synergy between now those 4 groups, I believe they can take their country.
Who should coordinate this synergy? Should it be anyone having this conversation, or should it come from the opposition or the political leaders?
Leave the political leaders. First of all, the boomers, those are the ones. Once I went into a next space, I just happened to enter. I had them discussing, so now the next election, this generation, we have to hide their IDs because they go and they make the worst decisions. I was like, we're the ones now who are being described. But what I'm saying is that we have the politicians who are there now, they had their time in their 20s, their 30s, and their 40s. And from outside in, when I turn on, what I see in opposition is when they all stand in a group and make a statement. If you're a lion, you don't call a meeting, you just roar. You need to be roaring and going all over the place. But I feel these 14 million need a different change. And that is their future. Us will not be there. They need to grab it. They really need to understand they have the power. We understand that space which is the best. They don't have to come out and watch people on top of their cars and wave. They just need to capitalize on that social media space. That is their home.
Do you think Ruto is wooing them with this Nyota program is becoming a little bit popular?
It's not. What does it do for you? You explain to me. What does it do for you?
Popular in terms of being known that Ruto is giving money. Do you think it will woo the voters?
You have to see the motive. What I don't want to name names. As the president, what is the motive and why now?
Open businesses from 50,000 shillings. He says you can think 50,000 shillings is some small money.
Has he explained the other one? What happened to it?
Tesla fund.
Yeah, what happened to it? Well, you should ask the hard questions. And why now? And people know your track record. And whose money is that you're giving us? And if it's the World Bank that has given you, why are you taking credit for it? And why are you now giving it? It's not from you. Put it somewhere, people apply, it comes to their account. Why does it have to come from your hand? It makes it even more suspicious. Maybe when you've skimmed some we don't know. But what I'm saying is that is temporary fix. We've had 3 years of watching the country going down. Never in history have we had 60% only 6% going back to school. People at home. But then you have this fund. People come to a meeting. We hear you spend almost 80, 90 million to feed them and to talk to them. And that is also corrupt. That is illegal. EACC, if they're serious, they're supposed to be watching the power. How is power using the machinery? You cannot be the president and then you use our taxpayer money, drive all the cars somewhere or helicopters, and then you say that now and then you go wear uniform. It's not campaign time. Campaign starts next year, May. Yeah. That is official time, even IBC. That's what I'm saying. We talk about corruption. The whole process is corrupt.
He's saying he's not campaigning. He's just empowering with this development tours.
That is campaigning. You can't say that, okay, let's say he's not saying that. But he sends his minions to the media to say, well, what we have opposition. As we can be in Mombasa now, in Mandela there, and there. That's why he's active, he's doing all that. With whose money? He's going with security. He's able to fly there, and he's using, that is not allowed. AACC, there's a law about that, using public money for your own gain. And election time has not begun. IEBC should be saying something about that. That is campaign. They're wearing uniform.
Do you have anything to do, any doubt with IEBC? People are talking about the CEO a lot.
Well, I know some of the people, there was a deadline for people to apply. There was a selection team, but then afterwards, we have people who are not in that team or in that being put in. So I don't know where they came from and what is the motive. We don't have confidence, in my opinion. I don't have confidence in some of them because they were not there. After I did the Senate race, I did apply to be a PS just to go through the process. I gave in all my documents. I was cleared by EACC. Everything was cleared, and I waited. Guess what? People who came after the deadline, and I could see they're not even qualified. They were given positions. So I don't know how. Yeah, those are the things we don't trust.
It leads to a lot of trust.
A lot of So what I was saying is that these campaigns have started too early, and that is they're using heavy money, and then now they force the opposition to try and do the same, but they cannot. They don't have that kind of money.
It's going to be tricky. Maybe on that same case, this has just come to mind. Will the opposition be able to counter Ruto, who is having this amount of money? We saw this in the by-elections, and I'm just thinking now, it's hope lost if he has all the instruments of power and the money that lying on the ground.
Of course, they always say remove the money from politics. I remember once I was volunteering for a governor in Florida, and there's a cap on how much you can give, all right? Even how much you can give to a candidate. Here we don't have that. And here now, in fact, it's also in our laws, checking the IBC laws. You cannot bribe people or try and persuade them with money to vote for you. You cannot do that. You cannot use your state power that you're there with all that protection to influence people that you're gonna be, I'm going to vote for me. It's there. Why aren't they doing anything about it? This is clear. I've seen pictures of 5,000 or 7,000 clear. The money is given. The uniform is here. Elections are in 2 years. IBC is not saying anything. Nobody is saying. Opposition should. These are the things they should be pointing out. Mulikaing.
But we're not.
We are not. So that scares us out there. We know that there's a problem right there.
Talk to me about the diaspora voting. There's a conversation about those people with dual citizenship cannot vote for other lower seats other than the presidency. You are remitting 780 billion annually. And I'm thinking, do you feel like you can participate fairly in the electoral process of Kenya, even when it comes to e-voting, etc.? Do you feel like the diaspora community is represented in the ballot?
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea.
Well, you have to remember, your citizenship does not end at the airport. If you're in Kenya, it's in that we are allowed to be dual citizens. So it doesn't end at the airport. This is still our country. And as you say, with that 780 billion that in our remittances, we are the government. Yeah, we are part of that. We are the government. We are second GDP. We are second GDP.
Yes.
And then you don't want to hear what we are saying, and we cannot vote who is going to run those monies. What our monies have become like as a welfare. We are providing welfare, a welfare backup for Kenya government, so they can comfortably step back.
Yes.
That's why they're able to breathe. If we were to pull out those funds, there'll be fire in this country. So we are co-running this country.
Almost $1 trillion every year.
Yes, we are co-running this country with the government, and we are citizens of this country. So we should vote. We don't have to vote for the county positions because we're not living here. And that's in the constitution. We can vote for the presidential. But they have made it almost impossible. They put it only in the consulate, that we should vote only in the consulate.
Yeah.
So last election, do you know how many people voted in the diaspora? 10,000. Only 10,000. Because, look, it's like being told to go and vote in Lagos. That's and go line up in Lagos, and it opens at this time and closes at this time.
So everyone has to move to that state?
No, like now in the US, we have got something in New York, a kind of consulate. We have the embassy in DC, and then California. And then they say we can only vote by going to the consulate.
So if you're in Texas,
you have to take a flight to either DC or go to California, and you might find them closed because it has to be open hours. Then they'll close. So people, and then also in Europe, it's the same thing. But there are other best practices that need to be used. Like the US, they do have, you can have ballot boxing, ballot voting, whereby we are cleared by the embassy that we are Kenyans, and we get the number, and then we can fill in our ballot, and then it is counted. We can also do electronic voting. We are cleared by the embassy, and we can log in on the day for voting and vote. That is pretty clear. And those are the kind of issues we need to fight. We now need to also now pull our weight. When it comes to other countries that have worked, like Italy or Senegal or Algeria, some of them have got members of parliament in their, sitting there in their parliament. But what they do, some of them, they break up the regions in the world, they hold election. So maybe as a member of parliament for Europe, US, that kind of a thing. And then you can come and sit in parliament and give your opinions. We may not be asking for exactly that, but we need representation. Our views need to be heard in parliament. Through the county government, through our members of parliament, we can plug in there. And so that's what I would say.
And do you believe if we do like the mail-in, can we trust the system to ensure that there's no rigging? You know, those are also conversations that are there.
But I don't to sound a bit helpless. We just have to trust, but us will follow ours. We'll trust and verify. We have voted there, we'll verify on that. And I don't know how it will be over here, but a lot of things are happening. I hear Smartmatic now has been rehired. You know, they put us through all that. It has been rehired, and that is really messed up. So we are very, very worried whether even the elections will be credible. Yeah.
Where are you leaning? Where is the diaspora leaning? 1 term, 2 term? Are you supporting William Ruto, the president, or are you looking for a candidate in the oppositions? Those are like David Maraga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Jimmy Wanjigi. Where do you think the diaspora is leaning?
Well, we are going to look for somebody who has integrity, somebody who has country first, somebody who has got a track record of being clean. Those are the perimeters. But of course, the EACC always clears almost everybody at a fee, maybe, I don't know. But that is what we would look for. And I'm sure our vote numbers may not be as much as the Gen Z over here. We'll be counting on the Gen Z. If we're able to activate our Gen Z, we can really influence that presidential vote. And help it out. But as you're asking who to vote for, who are we right now, we're not discussing anybody. Nobody is coming out straight. We're watching. We see it is the same people who have morphed over the years. They've been, it's dangerously that you were in Azimio, now you're in UDA, now you can be in broad-based, you're in this, you're what. We feel like these people are they can move any time. But I would like some people. I like some people the people who are championing economy. That one makes us sit up. Yes, if they're championing economy, that one is very important. Because that is what is ailing this country. If you're championing security, sovereignty, Yeah.
Constitutionalism, like
yes, yes. Every country in the whole world right now is caring about their people.
Yes.
America is America first. It's the borders. You get out. It's our country. You go to Europe, they're doing the same.
But I saw regarding the struggle with Kenya first. Was it what make Kenya great again? Branding on his capes and in his jackets.
Well,
I think his team.
We have to be careful. Yeah, those are slogans. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like you can. If you are watching it like a play, it's fun watching. But this is our life. This is our country. We really need to choose the right leaders with the right track record. And I think I have faith we'll find those kind of people in the next election if we activate the Gen Z who are, like, they've got a clear mind. They're very smart. They're very savvy, thanks to Kibaki free education. They're very savvy. And Matiang'i is putting things in place. They're very savvy, and if we capitalize on those numbers, then it will not matter who is the candidate. We'll kick you out if we don't like you. They'll nominate who they need. That is why I'm urging the Gen Zs, get out of that, shake yourself up. I know you're scared, they've put fear. They've put fear. When your friends are picked up, thanks to Safaricom, which is illegal, they trace you in your house, abduct you, and they go and kill you. It is scary. And then they put a law that if you type this, 7 years, or you don't know, you pay how much. So there's a silence, and that is democracy that is shrinking. But I believe they're going to wake up again. They're going to see the power. Like I said, protest with the good institutions in place, right? Then you can now vote and decide who will go in, regardless.
Let's talk about Singapore as we're winding up. You've lived in different parts of the world. You've traveled a lot. Are we likely to be a Singapore, or those first world countries who are governed well, the economy is doing well, the education is great, the healthcare is well? Because the president, I think he said recently that this 2026, we're going to set the agenda, we're going to set the terms, we're going to set the pace. And his pace from last year has been, we're going to be a Singapore of Africa. We're going to be a first world. And for you who lives in a first world, and from that experience in the diaspora, are we heading there?
I would say sometimes some statements, sometimes mental health is also real. Because look here, Singapore is number 3 in corruption perceptive index. We're number 127, all right? And I think maybe when we bribed not to be there, I don't know. I'm just saying the corruption here, we don't have, that's a slogan. It's a slogan not supported by a system of structures. You don't begin with speeches, slogans, how you're going to go there. You first fix the bottom. If you don't have health in place, education in place, security in place, you can't go to Singapore. And transparency and corruption in place. So we don't have all that, but you're promising us to go somewhere else.
Jump from 127 to 3.
Yeah, 127 to 3. And we don't have it. Okay, are the people healthy enough? No. Why? Because they're probably eating corrupted food. Hospitals don't have things. If you look at those nations, because I happened to be in Germany in 1990, when I think the wall had just fallen in 89. Germany was for Germans. Everybody was practically German. And you could see that, one, the part of not having corruption and people coming in with time, they've been able to build a solid country. I saw Chinese universities, so Germany has got very good universities, free education. Chinese who had 100 plan that is now worked out, had brought all their people there to those engineering, heavy engineering staff. That time China was almost like, they had agricultural, Phuket was an agricultural place. They all came, but now I see what was falling in together. Those are people who went back. Those are the diaspora that went back and built. Just like the diaspora from Rwanda, they went back and built. That's what makes us valuable. Even us will come back. We, the diaspora, right now, we hold 25 to 30 years experience in functioning countries. Not only as teachers or educators, people are there in engineering, in nuclear, even in AI, in nursing. We've got all that experience. We shouldn't be having like CBC education. Me, I am an educator. And I told you, CBC cannot work. Can you imagine from Tanzania, they can't come here? Even nobody around the region can even come to learn over here. The people who put it there, the kids are all in private school.
Yes.
And they come to the US. So what I'm saying is they need to tap us. And one way, maybe I said about it, in one way that they can tap us as diaspora and tap this wealth of knowledge is allow us to probably create an advisory council that can sit even in the county meetings. Like I'm from Oranga.
Yeah.
I'd written a paper of devolving the diaspora into counties. So the diaspora from China, from Namibia, US, from Oranga, we have one unit of an advisory council for our county to the governor. Sometimes I call the governor in Oranga, I tell him there's some books can be done this can go there. But I'm saying we can sit.
Do you think that has contributed to the performance of Irungu Kangata?
I'm not taking advantage of that, but I'm just saying that is something we can do. If we have like now Muranga, the Muranga diaspora all over, in the UK, everywhere, and we say now we're forming this, we're going to advise Muranga, okay? Who needs the school fees, who needs to go to what university, what do you need to export? Bring avocados down to my supermarket here, I'll deliver them. Bring them to this place, I'll deliver them. If we work together, that's synergy. Each county works with the county, sits in advisory council, advises our MPs, we would take this country another level. Because why are we going to do this? Because we would like the country to grow. So the money we have, it's not that we are billionaires when we send money. We give what we can. It's not that but it makes an impact because it's in the dollars or whatever it is. It's not that we're rich. Okay, but this is the time to use us, the Gen X who've been there for all these years. We need that synergy, and counties can be matched together to work with and if we grow the counties, we've grown the country.
For sure.
And of course, we vote for the person on top.
So this conversation about Singapore, you're saying it's simply a slogan? It's
a slogan and a speech. That's what it is. It's backed with nothing. It's backed with nothing. It's like I'm messing up here so much. Look there. Yeah, there. Now what are we discussing that?
Yes.
We're not discussing the kids who are still at home.
Yes.
We're not discussing wards in hospitals being shut down.
Sure.
People killing themselves because of pending bills. That's another thing. Yeah. And how do you have 3.7 billion going to ghost hospitals, and then the hospitals, the viewers don't have anything? Those are the things we should be focusing on. And also maybe asking the hard questions. You've come to talk to us, you're giving us money, 5,000, where did it come from? Where did it come from?
Those are the questions.
Go put it back together and take some kids to school. Go to Kiaro and see the example. Beyond your Singapore.
Kiaro. Finally, advice to Kenyans now from a diaspora lens, aerial view as you're looking at Kenya. What is that one thing you'd like to tell Kenyans? Not politicians now, we have told them a lot, but Kenyans.
I would say Kenyans, mukae macho. And you need to know that Kenya is a very loved country out there. That guy who came here, I have been told to take back many of these. I've got orders. Kenya is loved. We are endowed with so much. We have got so many minerals, and of course, maybe we don't have access to them. We have the Ikolomani people and Kakamega people sitting on 683 billion worth of gold. But guess what? They're told, come out, somebody wants to dig it and take it away. Need a torch. So I'm saying generally Kenyans, we need to be woke, so to say, see what is happening and give it to us. We amplify it out there. We can help in that way. But I believe if we choose the right leadership and we strengthen our institutions and we make crimes pay, corruption pay. You don't come to me from driving a motorbike. You become an MP, you followed with 3 SUVs. Yeah. You're coming like this and moving people from the road. That's another thing. Moving people from the road, like, you're my employee and you're moving me from the road.
Kenyans have started refusing.
Instead of me clapping for you, I'll ask you, where did you get it from? Could that be part of the school fees you should be putting in for my children? So I want us to be monitoring. Let us follow the money in this country. Let's not just go back to sleep. And Nancy tells us, Miss Nancy Gavin tells us that we can't trace this money. What does that mean? We should stop the country. Let's not even do anything. Stop the country. Why waking up to try and look for for 500 to try and take your kids to school if it's Kiharu. Why are we waking up? If $1 trillion can disappear and we wake up and continue as business as usual. When I arrived here, because I come in and out, the country has gone dark. Uhuru Highway, going up Valley Road, Gong Road, going to Karen, you hold your mouth, it's completely dark. But it wasn't like that. Some things are happening, but because we're within, we just accept, we sleep, we wake up with the paper, these people are doing this, these people are doing this, and we do nothing about it. That is a problem. So Kenyans, we need to all be alert. We need to follow the money. Do not proceed. Hit stop. Do not proceed when you're told $1 trillion cannot be traced. Or yet 12 trillion has been taken away. Yeah. 12 trillion, that is like our budget for 4 years. We're not asking the right questions. If every Kenyan says, no, this is a bit too much, and I can hear it on the ground, but do something, the next step. So when you say 1 term, 2 term, as a teacher, that multiple choice question is not valid. You're leaving out one more choice. No time. Today, that's all I'd say.
Kenya Kamacho, that is Comfort Mwangi talking about the state of politics and governance in Kenya from an aerial view. That is actually how the diaspora are thinking about this country. And what they're saying is, Tukai Macho. Of course, we're here at Double Drip Collections at Kovo Square, next to Quickbet Lovington. We're recording at the 2nd floor because I've been in talks with them and they've decided to dress me up and to, talk a little bit about them so that you can know that you can actually dress well. And whatever you need as a man, you can get it here at Double Drip Collections. You can check them out on their socials. The numbers are on the screen. Thank you so much for making time. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Every time we talk, I get more engaged.
Yes.
And I get more enlightened. And you also get to, learn more from what you have experienced.
Yeah, that was Comfort. I think Comfort has given an area view of much of the problems which we have. Belfast alikuwa anasema kuna vitu wako wanakubaliana nazo, and I wanted him to come here and try to address some of the issues which he thought he was not agreeing with the Comfort. Yeah, so that is what Comfort is saying. Comfort thinks Ruto will be ejected out of power, and amen to that. Mimi nafikiria that is something which is good. If there is a way of ejecting Ruto out of power, yeah, that one I would appreciate. Yes, wacha tusikie hii maneno ya Gathoni, which is continuing to percolate as I wait for Stone PK. Yeah, ameniarifu atakuja, so katika Gathoni anaelezea the reason why Gachagua was impeached. Hebu tusikie.
Gisamono State House hĩndĩ nere mari State House metagwo the Mount Kenya Mafia. Njugĩrĩrio ũguo mũranjugĩrĩria mĩtambo-inĩ ndaigagĩrĩrio kila pahali. Na ũrĩa ndamwĩrĩte nĩ mũkahũrwo 207 na 208 nĩ mwahũrirwo. Rĩu thikĩrĩriai. Ndĩramwĩra Gachagua ekũmũkoroga amũhũrithanie atigĩrĩre nĩ mwarũa nĩgetha agetwo mũhonia wa haro yanyu. Nĩrĩnda mũnjĩre nĩ haro ĩrĩkũ ĩ Kenya ĩyo ĩratũma ekĩre helmet na ekĩre vest ya haro. Njĩrai nĩ haro ĩrĩkũ ĩ Kenya. Mũtinjĩre inyuĩ mĩtambo-inĩ mũnumaga. Nĩ haro ĩrĩkũ ĩ Kenya ĩyo ĩratũma ekĩre helmet na ekĩre bulletproof na we ndũrĩ. Arenda gũtũma perception nja ya bũrũri kũrĩa Trump na arĩa angĩ nĩ ndĩrahũrwo arahũrwo nũ na nĩ ũrehũra. Andũ aitũ ndamũthaitha mũndũ ũyũ witũ erũthiomi rwega mũno rwa kuga andũ aitũ kono nyendete rũrĩrĩ. Andũ arĩa 272 mabutirwo thirikari-inĩ ya William Ruto aingĩra mwaka wa mbere arĩ deputy president nĩangĩamatharĩte matigabutwo nĩangiririe mabutwo. In fact nĩwe weraga William Ruto ũyũ wĩkĩre ũyũ Ruto ũyũ ararĩ wa Azimio Ruto ũyũ ĩkĩra ũyũ
Bisere mwino yaga
sasa thikiriria nini hold on a minute ni njadaga kwaria undu ona ingiro kama igoti-ini ingiprove Ruto githunguri ithe ndwenda giti gia senator kwi mundu wendaga giti gia senator witagwo speaker Disho ni bishop arugama giti gia senator macindanaga na Karungu ni ari na mathina ma magoti koguo ndagite na campaign time ya go campaign Ruto umenye ni endete Karungu na ndari ugo ndibere ya Ngai to ndari ho agiuka kiuga kamwana gaka ni kanini we Disho no tukuhe wira ungithengera wira uyu tundie Karungu
na ngatigira rero ambassador
akirirwo hau ndi hau akirwo na twari hau na icungwa na wa macukuru akirwo ni ngakuhe wira ukenda wira uriku aigire ambassador niguo twathurwo twarikia kwihitithio na tweka maundu mothe mucemanio wa round table wa mbere State House kwa Ruto itakinyete State House Ruto akihurira thimu-ini yakwa akimbiria mrembo yule mtu wa kwako tuliambilia kazi amepewa ngimwira no your excellency akijira basi kuja na tukiongea maneno ya Kiambu usisahau ugo niguo Ruto ajirire twakinya kwa mucemanio hende mucemanio so twathia kwariririo no tukuhe giti gia CS wa barabara to twendaga CS tutiendaga PS na twathia kwaririria clerk wa National Assembly twendaga mundu witu witagwo Njoroge na niwe wikuo riu ndagikeno twi hamwe akijira tukiaria maundu maria turathi kwaririria ndukarege kwaria cia mundu uria twarikia ngiuria atiriri na maneno ya Disho iko wapi president akiuga mbere ya MP zothe akiambu na no makire wira akawanjiko to mariho oigire kazi za watu wa mlima zinapangwa na Rigathi Gachagua my deputy president
ari hau
takiri hau ariko
aikareta kama msumani yesu okay
na ithuothe tugigitikira ni ukahea wira wake uyu wa githunguri tondu wakiri wa kwiranirwo Disho umwite haha speaker nigo mwariria ni murata wakwa na ni vuguta wakwa umurie gwathire ate wira wake wathire ku wanyuire mai tondu Gachagua ahiuririe wira wa Disho akinengera mundu witagwo Munyiri na andu aria igoti-ini to ni ambassador wa India wira ucio Munyiri aikarire India wari wa Disho
amuhiuria nikire
na Disho amuruta wira wa thirikari aruta uyu Munyiri wira wa thirikari Disho ndari wira aruta mundu wira wa kwao amunengera wira wa ambassador
ara kama mwanake utari muthuri utari wira
murie ucio wa Munyoro mwite hao muria atiriri wega thoni aroiga riria wari deputy president ri andu aria othe mahetwo wira agatundu na githunguri wira ni Uhuru waingira ni kuruta warutire na ni gukuhe list
ya no ya arutire
andu aria arutire I have a list
na gwa ndo maru
andu magana meri ma 72 agikuyu akuma Embu kuma Meru kuma Kirinyaga kuma Kiambu aria we arutire a deputy president na ucio no mureciria no ngimuteithia
agituraturaga aingatirwo ni tondu wondu ucio umwe wa gutetera andu acio
aingatirwo ni ndu wa kuguthira president metha
yaugire ana
murakaru aguthagira president metha ona kumuikiria thimu eni reke twarie matwangie sararuku aguthagira president metha na aguthaire president metha ni ndu wa pesa.
Hapo ndio nilikuwa nikitaka tuongee sasa. Ati Gathoni wa Mushomba anasema Gachagua alitolewa kama deputy president sababu ya kugongea Ruto meza na kumrushia simu. Ati alikuwa anampigia meza hivi bwana, usinione mjinga wewe. Sasa mbona hii maneno ya Ruto na Gachagua inataka kufanana pia kama ya Uhuru na Ruto tena? Because sasa kwani hao madeputy wanakuanga hivyo wote? Ruto alikuwa anakazia Uhuru, naye Gachagua alikuwa anakazia Ruto. Kwani president ananga power? Hebu nataka mrudie hapo because that is a very serious kicker. Nilikuwa nikitaka msikie ati, na ndio nimewachezea hii video, ati Gachagua alitoroka kwa serikali sababu ya kugonga meza kwa Ruto.
Sio mwa wa gutetera andu acio
aingatirwo ni ndu wa kuguthira president metha
yaugire ana
murakaru aguthagira president metha ona kumuikiria thimu eni reke twarie matwangie sararuku aguthagira president metha na aguthaire president metha ni ndu wa mbeca cia project ya mutumia wake iria ya rehabilitation akiuga mutumia wa president ko ni ongererwo mbeca ona akiongererwo akiguthira president metha
kare muthuri maturiku atia
ucio riu niwe muraiga ati niwe guthi kumwariria kirima kamarae manona matianyitha isimiki
biseria
ai huyu mama ni kama ametumwa bwana. Mbona unajua saa zingine vitu zingine which are how can you verify this? No, ndio nauliza, how can you verify this story kama hii? Unaweza juaje kama ni ukweli? Because you see, unajua saa zingine even as people are giving accounts, this is story you cannot, so like hapa Gathoni anatumika. I think nilikuwa nikifikiria Gathoni ni mtu mwerevu na sio mwerevu hata. You don't give allegation ya things which cannot be confirmed. Ama zile vitu wewe peke yake ndio unajua. So Bwana Paul, basi kama deputy ni puppet ya president, mbona hawa madeputy ndio wanakaa strong? Ndio wanatishia president all the time. The first two wanatishia president. Ruto alitishia Uhuru na Gachagua akatishia nani? Mbona hii ya Kenya yani kuna vile like rais ndiye anatishiwa. She has been paid well by Ruto to spread propaganda. Gachagua found out she is a mole and kicked her out of a circle. She is bitter for being caught spying for the enemy. Wamushomba ni female version ya Moses Kuria. Ndio nasema ndio nauliza sasa, hizi story Gathoni anasema, how can you verify it? Like, so Gathoni anasema Gachagua alikuwa anapiganga meza. How can I know whatever she is saying? Why is Gathoni saying whatever she is saying to amini? Kwa nini tunafaa kuamini hii mambo Gathoni anasema? How do you verify this? Ili ujue hata yeye Gathoni ajielewe, she is not a serious propagandist. If you are a propagandist, you need at least to bring information which is verifiable. Sasa anasema nijue. How do you know? Mimi naweza juaje Gachagua alipiga meza na usikuje kuniambia ulisikia? Mbona huyu mama, mbona ana video? Where is the evidence? Bana, hiyo mimi nahitaji evidence bwana. That one I need evidence. Hiyo I need evidence ya Gachagua akipiga meza. But the story of Gachagua anakuja hapa ati anasema ati Gachagua alikuwa anapiga meza na kurushia Ruto simu. Hapana bwana. I know capability ya Ruto bwana. Huyo jamaa anaweza tengeneza story bwana. Hii ni story imetengenezewa pahali na ikaiva.
Wale maneno matengi niki.
Bisera mwino ya Gachagua guku atongore-ine na guku rugongo tio ina.
Angikoro mundu ni deputy president iri na ni araguthira president methari yagituika president ni akiagika. Halo?
Ati angikoro mundu ni deputy president na ni arahuthira president. So how do we know that, Gathoni? How do you verify that? I don't know why how watu waelewi. I thought Gathoni ni mtu amesoma. Si alikuanga kwa TV na vitu zingine. How do you verify that? Kupiga meza, how do you verify it?
Ndako jigwenye muti jigwe. Agikuyu. Muti jigwe.
Ati tumusikie. Hapo ni kulipwa sasa, hapo ni kulipwa. Gathoni wewe umelipwa. Si ati Wakikuyu si munisikie. So she has been paid because of automatically this is a statement of somebody who has been paid. She has been paid to come with propaganda, even without saying watu wafuate Gachagua ama wasimfuate. This is not how you spread propaganda. Propaganda should be halfway true. Propaganda ina mix ukweli na uongo. But you cannot have propaganda which is like kituwezi confirm. I wish watu Gathoni, you are serving your last term. I can tell you. I think wewe umechoka. Maybe I think this woman is tired. Tuseme hivyo, she is tired. Huyu sasa wewe ni kutokezea na ile umeokota sasa. Wewe sasa I think you are finished. Umemalizia wewe.
Kadirikana. Ndamwiri 205 ni mukahoro 206. Ndatoraga radio-ine. Ngimuthaitha ngimwira tigai gwiko tigai kugo mukaga kujigua. Ndatoraga ndimukuaga na marori ndimurehaga haria kirathimo. Ndagika ino no ndimutware micii njakiire andu aria marutirwo ruguru ruu mena rithathi mena migwe mutwe. Kana gutire family ndirakeire ha Juja the other day. Ndimatharite ruguru ruu. Gikuri niki kiratuma mwende kumenwo muramenithio bururi wothe ni mundu umwe. athie kwa waria ni arumanire, athie gwa ikamba ni arumanire, athie kwa coast kwa ndo coast ni arumanire. Riu arari Ramu uregui akiuga atia ati Ramu tukarugamia gikuyu atheri na Ramu ti gwitu, Ramu turi ageni. Ta imagine waima woya ndege yaku wacoka mathirari andu acio gikuyu akora Ramu wa matigira haro yake na makora mena thayu. Mundu uyu ni agutuhurithia na mundu arandika script ya gutuhurithia na 2027 no agatuhurithia mwaga kunjigua. Riu muranuma ku mutandao na maranuma ni andu matakirite miaka 25 ni mararuma.
Nishapata sasa, nishapata what Gathoni is saying. Gathoni vile anasema Wakikuyu washapangiwa vita. Yes, I've already gotten it. That is the script. Unajua Gathoni wewe sio mwerevu kutuliko. What Gathoni is saying ni Wakikuyu msipopigia mtu fulani kura mtapigwa. That is the messaging hapa. Gathoni anasema kuna mtu ameniambia msipompigia kura. Hey, that is a bit psychological. Hii kupata sio rahisi. Lakini what Gathoni is, unajua wakati unasikiliza speech you should try to pick what is not being said from what is being said. Hivi anasema sio venyewe. Gathoni vile anasema ni ya kwamba nyinyi Wakikuyu msipopigia mtu fulani kura hata mtafukuzwa kule mnakaa. That is the messaging. So na yeye ako kwa hiyo karengerere, yeye ako kwa hiyo mpango. Na anakaa na wale watu ambao watafukuzwa Wakikuyu. That is Gathoni from what she is saying. Hiyo ni wacha niweke, you can pick out. So Gathoni anasema Wakikuyu mutapigwa. That is the message. Nataka kuwarudilia hapo ili musikie. But don't listen to what she is saying. Use the known to get the unknowns. Listen.
Ramu turi ageni. Ta imagine.
Unasikia? She's not talking about Lamu. Vile anasema Lamu sisi ni wageni. She is saying sisi watu wa Mlima tuko kwa counties ambazo indigenous sio zetu. And for your information, I don't need story. Anasema sisi ni wageni aje. Kwani mtu akinunua plot unaanzianga kukua mgeni? I can go to Eldoret and buy a plot. So what Gathoni is saying ni Wakikuyu wamepangiwa. That's what she is saying. Na Wakikuyu sasa muketi chini mukijua ya kwamba munapangiwa na watu wenyu wanakuwa kwa hizo meza mukipangiwa. Munapangiwa vita na watu wenyu wako kwa hizo meza. The messaging here is very simple. Mutapigwa. Messaging from Gathoni. Just pick it out. You know, sometimes when you are analyzing politics, because how politicians hawatakangi kukua misquoted, so what they do is they do the reverse of what they are saying. So lazima usikilize vizuri sana and you decode what she is saying. That is the decoded message from here. Anasema sisi, so yani yeye atuoga wake ni anajua Wakikuyu watapigwa kama watapigia mtu fulani kura. Si ati ni uoga, si ati ni anatupenda. Anaambua alete huo uoga ili sasa Wakikuyu waseme ai basi kama tutapigwa na tufukuzwe. So ile kitu inafanyiwa hapa sasa, na ndio nataka muelewe, ni kura ya Wakikuyu diaspora, ni separation sasa. Wakikuyu wale wako Mount Kenya na wale Wakikuyu wako diaspora waachane. So ni uoga wale Wakikuyu wako Nakuru, Eldoret na Lamu na eneo zingine ambazo sio mlima waachane na hao Wakikuyu wengine. So already Wakikuyu wanataka kwanza wawekwe groups mbili. So Wakikuyu kuna Wakikuyu diaspora na Wakikuyu main. So Wakikuyu diaspora wanaambiwa nyinyi hamwezi enda kinyume cha serikali sababu nyinyi mtapigwa na mtafukuzwa. Waachaneni na hawa Wakikuyu wengine. That is the messaging. Waachaneni na hawa Wakikuyu wengine. Hawa Wakikuyu wengine already wako kwao. They are in places where they originate from. wachaneni na hawa Wakikuyu wengine wa diaspora. Hawa Wakikuyu wa Nakuru, Eldoret, Migori, wapi, hawa Wakikuyu ni wageni. Hao, na sababu nyinyi ni wageni, hamwezi enda against William Ruto, sababu mkienda against William Ruto mutapigwa na mutafukuzwa. So ni desperation ya Ruto kujaribu na unajua Kikuyu diaspora ni close to 30%. Sijui kama mnaona ile kandi imepangwa hapa. Already sasa hawa Wakikuyu wa diaspora wakitishiwa na wakiambua mjue hata hawa Wakikuyu wengine the main Kikuyu zao akina Nyeri, Murang'a, hawa Wakikuyu hawawateteangi. Nyinyi mnapigangwa peke yenu. That is the message ingine iko. So Wakikuyu wanataka kuseparatiwa. So Wakikuyu wa diaspora sasa hawa wanaambiwa you are safer with Ruto. Because Ruto ndiye atawalinda na mkienda against Ruto mwenyewe atakuja na awapige. Haya, Belfast.
Unajaribu kuturoga hapa eh?
Nawaroga kiaje?
Unaleta hizo msheneza sijui ati
No, sileti mushene. I'm saying what this woman is saying. Na hiyo kule ya diaspora ndio Ruto wanataka. Unajua, if for your information, sababu again I have also heard that because that is what even some other Kalenjins are saying there. Wanasema wale Wakikuyu wanakaa na wao wakipiga kwingine wanawafukuza. So what I'm trying to say is this. If Ruto can confuse that diaspora Kikuyu vote aipate, don't you think kadi yake imeanzia kukua mzuri? Is the star started to brighten slightly? Because sasa hiyo ndio uoga wanaweka sasa. Wanaweka sasa hao Wakikuyu wako diaspora. Hata wakiambiwa wako kwao. Endelea.
Okay, I failed to recognize Kenyan elections a long time ago, so I'm not going to have a conversation about this. I was interested to hear the comments by Comfort there. But umemtoa wapi leo? Kwa sababu zamani alikuwa hapa, tulimenyana kumenyana. Nimeona amekuja na zile vitokeo za right wing republicanism hizo za Amerika, na anatuambia story za Somali. Hiyo aki, as a Pan-Africanist, I fail to understand. Why are you people against Somali people? I don't understand it.
Bwana nani Belfast kidogo, we are not against Somali people. We are against wale wa Somali ambao ni wahuni, wale wanafanya mambo mabaya, wale ambao ni wezi, ni wakora, ni watapeli, wale ambao wanajifanya ni halal, wale ambao wanasema ni Waislamu wazuri, lakini wale ambao wanasema sijui hii ni haram, lakini wizi na umeangalia majority ya SHA directors in Kenya, Somalis are 30% SHA directors in Kenya, na ndio wanakula vibaya. So there is nothing like ati Uislamu na haram. Those people are thieves like any other. So bwana Belfast, hakuna Msomali mzuri anachukiwa. Ni yule Msomali mwizi, ni yule Mujaruo mwizi, ni yule Mkikuyu mwizi lazima tumchukie. Mujaruo mwizi lazima tumchukie.
You're contradicting yourself because what you're doing, there's such a thing called a zero-sum game. Yeah, a zero-sum game.
Which is zero-sum game?
What?
What is zero-sum game in what you are saying?
A zero-sum game is in this particular example. You can substitute the Somalis with Kikuyus, Luos, any other community, as you said there just now. So it's a hopeless game. Because I can turn around, just don't interrupt me, please. Don't interrupt me. Let me talk. I can also start saying things like, hey, the most cabinet ministers in Ruto's government are from central Kenya. There are about 7 or 8. Okay? It's a zero-sum game. You cannot criminalize a tribe. You cannot decide because the population of Kenya is majority Kikuyu, so all criminals are Kikuyu. It's like saying, I've said this before. I used to peddle this argument there in Mutembei channel way back When we say that the Chinese people are the largest block of smokers in the world, but we know that their population is competing with India in the world. So all we are saying is they have a big population, but they are not the most smokers in the world. So we cannot say the same about Ati, because now if the Kikuyus are the majority in population, yes, it adds up that maybe you might find most people convicted and penalized in prison in Kenya would come from that community just because their population is the highest. It's not a moral attribute that the Kikuyus are criminals. So this is the same argument I'm using about
But we have never
the Somali community.
Criminal Kikuyus.
Hmm?
We have never supported criminal Kikuyus.
No, again, you're trying to find you're trying to find a way to corner me and say my intention of what I am saying is that it's very dangerous to decide ati Wahindi ndio sasa ndio watu ambao wanatusumbua wa Kenya, ama tuseme Wamasai ndio wale watu walikuwa wanaiba ng'ombe sana sana walikuwa Wamasai. Mbona tusiseme ati huyu Masai huyu na familia yake wao ndio walikuwa wanaiba ng'ombe kwa ile kijiji ama kitu kama hiyo? Unaona, it is very dangerous because even our freedom fighter Koigi Wamwere, although some people may not agree, has written books about negative ethnicity. And we practice it, by the way, without knowing. And Koigi says it, without knowing. Not sometimes even we don't mean to. Okay? So I find that if we continue to propagate that whatever is happening in America, Minnesota, is it's a very dangerous thing to look at, because me, I'm proud of our Somali brothers and sisters, and I know that yes, you will find that some criminals have emerged from that community, but we have had criminals emerging from our communities as well. Now, why I'm saying that the Somali Kenyans or Somali proper have done great for our communities. You see, when you go to our rural areas, you know that the people who are running the medium businesses in our communities now, Western, Nyanza, even Ukambani, and many other places in Kenya, including Kisii. I don't know much about Central, but someone told me here on this channel one time that the Somalis have ventured there in Central as well. They have done something which the Indians did during the colonial times, because Africans were denied that commercial space, and the Indians aggressively marketed their items in our rural areas. Somalis have come at a time when those shops and those commercial enterprises, they just lay there empty for nearly 30, 40 years. And someone came with the idea, if these people can sell or rent a business, we will buy it or we'll rent it. And now the retail sector in our rural areas is thriving. And even the prices are more reasonable for our rural communities. It just happens that it's the Somali community who are running this trade. Some people were saying that until now, the Kikuyu business sector, retail people, are annoyed because the Somalis have taken over. Me, I don't buy this theory. because I am well aware that even in Nairobi, a lot of people from Central who have big businesses are doing deals with the Somali, and they're selling or partnering with them in business. These people are Kenyans, one. Right, okay. So I listened to Comfort, and she was saddened by the fact that the corruption crime level in terms of procurement of an ID, passports, those kind of things. Actually, those people, they don't even speak Swahili. Me, as a Pan-Africanist, I don't care if, but that is just me. I don't care if we have people coming from Togo wanting to be Kenyan and Kenyans wanting to be Togolese. We must stop this practice of thinking that sovereignty just means that we have to oppose other communities coming to our country. What do we have that is so special? Because, you tell me. Right now, people know that Somali has strong resources that maybe can compare with Kenya. We hear that we have rare earths in Kenya, but those things, as even your Trump said the other day, it takes a country to invest billions to retrieve those rare earths. And that's why China is successful and many countries are not successful in doing this. So we cannot just say that countries like Somalia, the way Donald Trump is suggesting, that those people, their job is just to maliciously conquer other countries by taking over, investing illegally, things ati we have never done. Ati sisi wa Kenya hatujafanya hizi uchafu za wa Somalia ambao tunawa accuse. It's not a rant. It's just what I'm saying is fair play. We need to recognize these people as part of our community. It doesn't mean that if we don't like Aden Duale, so it means we don't like Somalis. If we don't like this guy from Migori, Junet Mohammed, and we don't like Somalis. It's a zero-sum game. We need to grow up out of this shell, because if we continue like this, it will not be Somalis. The next time it will be another community and another community. And we've done this since 1963, so-called independence. Okay, so my last point is the conservative right-wing thinking that we hear. People coming to this platform either on WhatsApp or on the actual studio and speaking with a right-wing mind frame, ile Donald Trump. But you see, this thing is very Kenyan. Most Kenyans will think like Donald Trump, unfortunately. You'll hear Kenyans who support Israel only because they have read in the Bible about David versus Goliath. Very simple things like that. You'll hear people being very conservative about the death sentence. People will even decide that they must lynch a person who is suspected to have stolen or pickpocketed another person. This same person who is now wanting another person to be lynched will be fighting for democracy, will be here taunting Ruto, Uhuru, all the rigors of elections. Fighting for the rights of Kenyans under the banner of constitutional democracy. But this same person will be the right-wing person who wants people to be lynched. So what I have decided here is that we must think about the future. What is it that, because, okay, we can talk about the history of our country and where it is going, but when we realize that we're not talking about the future, then it's just a waste of time. When I say the future, I am not thinking about these politicians. No, I am thinking about how, our culture and practice changes, how we address issues. And I heard you, Bwananjiru, talking about Ibrahim Traore in this show tonight. And me, personally, I was impressed, even though you or or Comfort, I can't remember who, suggested that Traore is actually not what people think that he is. But for us, we look at him as a revolutionary, an example that is actually being copied by other African countries. But people like yourself, Njiru, you think it's a utopia, that it will not last 5 years. I will not waste time thinking about Gathoni wa Mushomba or any other politician that we decide to watch on the news in Kenya, because it's a waste of time. I still haven't seen a solid politician who can change Kenya in the way that we want. I looked at Eric Omondi, and people say that, okay, he's just a philanthropist. But that philanthropy is coming out of Kenyans' money. People are giving contributions towards the things that Eric Omondi is marketing. Whether he's doing it for himself to make a name or not, he is still doing something. And he's an intellectual who understands the political space in Kenya. I will not mind finding 2, 3, 4, 5 Eric Omondis doing the same thing to help propagate change in Kenya. Unfortunately, the last time we had comedians in politics, they ended up failing us. But we shouldn't use that to say that Eric Omondi cannot style up and bring change in Kenya. What I know is that these long-term politicians that we have had for many years, Kina Wetangula, Mudavadi, Ruto, I dare not mention Kalonzo because I still have a lot of time for him. I think Kalonzo Musyoka is a very mature politician who can change Kenya, but the problem is history does not allow him because he has legacy issues in terms of being in Moi's government, Kibaki's and all that. I want us to have a youth leader or youth leaders, but it looks like it's too late to bring a formation that can remove Ruto from power. Remember, Ruto is supported by the West. You can remember that before Joe Biden left the seat of power, Ruto was invited for a state visit in America. He is the first African president after Nelson Mandela. We're talking maybe 30-something years ago, who received a state visit in America. You ask yourself, why? Why Ruto? Of all the African leaders, what is it? I'll leave that question to you, and thank you very much for giving me the chance to air my views. Thank you.
Haya, Stone PK, karibu sana, lakini kuna video nataka kuwachezea hapa, but ni ni huyu Professor Kibisho. He is quite a serious guy. Neutral uta nini kidogo, uta fraud kidogo, but he is saying very serious things about him maneno ya Singapore. Anaitwa Professor Dr. Paul Kibisho. So kidogo tu.
Edemo Singapore ni ado milioni 588 na growth rate ya Singapore 0.63% per year. Na arume a Singapore ni ado milioni 340 na atimia ni ado milioni 485 na mashira gashiana 137 per day na makua ga 82 per day. Koguo oyoga kwa tukiari horo wa Singapore abe trole kindu gitagwo data, trole kindu gitagwo statistics. Koguo andu a Singapore ni andu anini muno ni andu anini muno niguo ndakwira. Singapore ina andu anini muno milioni 588 na Singapore atumia ne 2,850,000 na warume 3.4 million people. So 52% men, 48% women. Na maundu maria mothe mekaga na kumatikara magiciaraga tiutindaga urire. About 137 per day na ikune andu 82 per day. Rora Kenya ora turakua. Turashira guciara hatucirie.
Aya, Stony PK, go ahead. You know, those are different people who are trying to deconstruct this idea of Singapore. Some are even saying actually Singapore is a city. It's a new lie which Ruto is trying to come. And I wanted, you know, many of us, we have not even, hata kama tunasema tuongee story. Maybe even as we speak, you will help us to understand hii idea yake ya wheelbarrow ilifika wapi. Haya, go ahead, Stone.
Jiro, good to see you at Belfast and those who are on the comment side. I am coming in on the basis of I saw you playing Comfort video. I watched her live when she was being she was in that discussion with Kabiro. I've been following Kabiro very much because Kabiro was with Haman Manyora. So when he started his show, I think I was among also the first guys during his first show, his maiden show, and yeah, I'm always there when he's discussing things with former town clerk. And this one was a good one, good discussion. I even congratulated Comfort. She put it quite well. They discussed very well, brought up issues quite explicitly, and yeah, I'll comment on that. The last clip you put, I have a problem with how, you know, Kenyans, we get fooled very easily. As much as, yes, we say we are very doing season wherever season in any, but we get fooled very easily. And that's why we were fooled by Moi for 24 years. Because sharp and clever, very robust people, you cannot have a dictator run you people for 24 years. And you are crying, lamenting, kupiga nduru, nini. So Kenyans, when people tell me, oh, they are resilient, they are resilient, kuvumilia ujinga, machungu, upumbavu, and they are easily tossed. We can be tossed around, we can be pampered kama kaumbwa tu, unaguzwa hivi unalala flat. What I mean is, look at how we are dwelling on the issue of Singapore. You know, Singapore is a stupid thing. Somebody made a very stupid, nonsensical, and we said that from Lene. Bado watu wanaongea juu ya hiyo. Even professors, as you are saying, mtu unakuja. I mean, how can you do such a cheap analogy that Singapore has fewer people? I mean, if you can manage excellent a family of 4, meaning you can manage whatever resources you have to feed that family of 4 well, you can as well manage resources if you are given a family of 30 and then you have commensurate resources. So I sometimes I differ with the people. I did statistics as well, but I don't understand when people say, Singapore has a population of 5 million, so comparing it with Kenya is this. I mean, we are being stupid. Oh, Rwanda has a small population and it's a small country. You cannot compare it with Kenya, which has 50. That's nonsense. That's an argument of somebody who doesn't seem to have gone to school. Ama mtu haelewi. Yeah? If I can manage a kiosk properly, na ni prosper with equivalent resources, then if I'm given a wholesale shop, the commensurate resources, it means that it's not about resources, it's about the management of the resources. Because if you are stealing in the kiosk, hata ukipewa wholesale shop, utaiba. If you are a thief, you are a thief. If you are a corrupt person in a country of 2 million and you are given 20 million, it's the same. You will be corrupt. If you are given 1 million shillings and when ni mwizi, you will do nothing with it ni kuiba, hata ukipewa bilioni 10, it's the same thing. Yeah? So now, Wakenya tuko kwa narratives zingine za ujinga zile Ruto ametuwekea just to distract us all over the media. There is one narrative, Njiro, I'll give you an example, which I said, actually tomorrow I want to have a show and try to deconstruct this very stupid statement that it's a narrative now that opposition is weak, opposition has nothing to offer, opposition has this and that and this. And this is a carrot, I mean, it's a diversionary toss which was thrown by Ruto. And we are falling into it. Yeah? We are falling into it now. We are there castigating. Oh, we even don't have anybody who can remove Ruto. Oh, all those candidates are not even whatever. They are not talking together. They are this, they are. Then simuende atopia basi mtafute mwingine kutoka ule ambaye si Mkenya. Ule atakuja kutoa Ruto. Wakenya, especially the analysts, those who self-proclaimed analysts, media, it's above. Media cannot take Kenya anywhere. In fact, the current crop of people who go into analysis and all that, they are too cheap, they are too low. Days are gone when we had intellectuals really, kind of picking issues. So for me, I think we are falling off. We are too easily diverted. We buy very cheap narratives. Yeah. And one thing that stood so firm with the Comfort is that she was firm and she talked about the power that we have. She talked about Gen Z. I mean, let me talk about the youth. She talked about that there are people there that can remove this guy. Okay, and then for me, I'll add, and I wish I was able to be there. I would have added and asked, who is the opposition? Who is opposition? Opposition is the people. Okay, it's the people who are saying no to Ruto. Unless it is not the people, and if it's the people who are saying no to Ruto, then are they ready to be bought to say yes to Ruto? So we are supposed to ask those two questions. Are we that, if it's the masses, it is the citizens that are saying to hell with Ruto? Then we ask ourselves, are they, because I hear now people saying, Ruto has a lot of money, their money will come, the Nyota money is being given, it's bribe and all that. So if the opposition, who are the people, are going to be bought by Ruto, then let's all leave everything to Ruto and say it's bullshit. Because you can't tell me you are fighting Ruto and you are looking at how much money he's going to give you. So it's all nonsense then. It's garbage. When you start telling me, Ruto is already campaigning, opposition are not campaigning, Ruto has a lot of money, opposition you need a lot of money, then it is BS. If I were those leaders in opposition, I would say, okay, kaeni na Ruto awapatie pesa na muache kulia. But if the people have resolved that they don't want Ruto, no amount of money can move those people. Yeah. So for me, I think I want to run away. I want to get away from this narrative of saying that in Kenya we don't have opposition, we don't have strong people. Everyone who presents himself ana kasoro makasoro, huyu akitokelezea hivi, huyu then who? Let's ask God to give us an angel from heaven. Atutumie angel akuje, ndiye akuje to rally behind him or her to remove Ruto. Yeah, because everyone, this one, Kalonzo is this way. Oh, you see, now Matiangi did this. Oh, Ribawala, sijui nani, then, and people are not saying huyu ndio basi, huyu ndio mweupe kama bamba, huyu ndio akuja nini. What we are good at is minus. No wonder our sum total is equivalent of 24 years of suffering, and if now people joke, Ruto will be there until 2050 something. I mean, if we go by that kind of thinking. Lastly, there's something that Comfort said, and this one, my opinion is, we cannot just be a country that doesn't care about who is with our identity and who is calling himself Kenyan. I don't think there is any country in the world that leaves its borders so loose and open. I don't know in whatever name. There is no way we can say that anybody is free to come. Somalis, we have Somalis. Those are not Kenyans. And that's why we do vetting. We have Masai Tanzania, Masai Uganda. I mean Masai Kenya. And they have different IDs. Go to Tanzania. Masai wa Tanzania atakwambia ni Masai, mimi ni Tanzania. Then how silly can we be as a country? How silly can a president be? At all, there is no vetting, there is no that. Vetting has to be there. If you are from Togo, like Eli is saying, and you want to become Kenyan, you have to go through the process of getting citizenship. Few people who are in the diaspora, you never jumped out of here, then went to Australia. At all, I'm a Kenyan, I want to live in Australia. Then you are given all those things. Come on. We cannot have a country where you have these documents are being issued from the house, from the apartment of individuals. Hey man, a country has to have order. Hebu jaribu hata kupata nini ya Uganda, enda Uganda ujaribu kupata any document yao uone, ama Tanzania, you know. And remember, we are East Africans, guys. We cannot do that, especially when it is because of political whatever. Opening borders to everybody in terms of humanity and that we are from Africa. Come on, no. You are from Ghana. You want to become Kenyan? Yeah, you are an African. Yes. Let's remove visas. Let's remove everything. You come. You are free. But let's know umekuja, unaishi wapi, what are you doing, what business you are doing, and if you feel you fall in love with our country, then get the documentation in the proper way. Hakuna hiyo ijazuiwa na mtu yeyote, but hii ufala na ujinga ya kusema ati tufungue boda za huko Somali na wamwagike huko, hiyo ni upumbavu ile ya chapu. It's the worst thing that can ever happen. Never. I've never heard of any country that behaves. Actually, we have become the clone of the world. Tumejoin hii nchi kubwa ya huyu jamaa anaitwa Trump kuwa clones of the world. Yaani sisi ni mafala. Haya, kuna swali Eli ameuliza ati kwa nini Ruto anasapotiwa. Si mwizi usapoti mwizi. Mwizi sapoti mwizi. Wagondi usapoti wagondi. Watu wa madawa wanasapotianga watu wa madawa. That is as simple as that. Ninasapoti ule mtu atafungua boda zake nikafanye maugondi zangu. It is that basic. Hakuna story ingine. Uchali ni mwizi, kwa hivyo anataka pia ako open kufanya wizi yoyote ile na apewe kati yake. He doesn't care about the country. Na hao wagondi wakubwa hawa sasa wanamprotect is because wamekuja kurepu nchi. Na ni nani atawapanulia miguu wa repu? Si ni Ruto. So it is that straightforward. Yeah? It's that straightforward. This guy doesn't care about how the country is being raped, because hata yeye ako hapo akirape, wanaenjoy hiyo utamu wote pamoja. Yeah, I had to use that example ndio ni express how painful it is what this guy is doing, na hiyo ujinga ati anasapotiwa sijui na nani. They are all thieves, ni wezi, wanataka kuangamiza not only Kenya, wanataka kuangamiza nchi ya Afrika. Kwanza wakisikia Afrika inaungana, hiyo ndio kitu hawawezi taka kusikia kabisa, you know. Yes, hiyo ndio kitu hawezi taka kusikia kabisa. And bravado to Traore, amekuja kuweka dreams za kina Kwame Nkrumah alive na kina Nyerere. And Traore today is the greatest president you can ever have in Africa as of now. Watu wapende wasipende, ule unadau ule anadau, aangalie documentary what is it happening in Burkina Faso. Is not si utoto na ujinga za nyota fund na nini. It's real things happening. Hospitali ziko all over, both mobile and physical. Real things, practical things. What else do we want? Vitu hazijawahi fanyika kwa nchi yoyote hapo isipokuwa Libya, ndio ilikuwa inakimbia development faster. Hivyo huyu jamaa anafanya. Yeah. Otherwise I know Africans ni watu wa mawivu. Mtu akifanya vizuri unasikia unajua, lakini huyu unajua ana kasoro, ni dictator, watu hawana freedom of speech. Why do you need freedom of kupayuka tu kila mahali kama na hakuna kudeliver unadeliver? We want freedom of constructive things, giving ideas to build your country, not just kupayuka things that hazina maana. Wacha nipoza hapo kidogo Njiro. I was talking alone hapa
Hapana, story pekee ya Ongoi peke yako, si we have listened to you.
Nimesikia hiyo silence mingi sana, there is no flow. Maybe nimeongea matope.
Hapana, unajua was quite unique, umeongea vitu mingi. So anyway, let me ask you a question, because you have analyzed what Comfort said. Do you think what Comfort said is something which Kenyans are understanding? Because I think the title of the video is how we are going to defeat Ruto.
When you say Kenyans, huwa unamaanisha watu gani Kenyans? Sasa ubaya hizo ni za Kabiru, ni very small audience. Wasomi.
Yeah? No, I'm talking of proportionate. Proportionate number which can make a decision.
Hapana, hiyo haiwezi. Hizi vitu za vizungu nini ni za wasomi. Hizi vitu zinataka grassroots things, my friend. Hizi mambo nyingi tuna discuss ni high tech, ni hapa juu, wachache tu. Sisi wachache nini tunaongea science, tunaongea vitu.
Unataka kusema sisi tu tunafikia a very small group because kuna vile like our information is a bit not filtered well. So yani unataka kusema sisi kile tunaongea hapa na yule mtu anapewa 200 pale, we are in two different grounds.
Hakuna hata hajakusikia huyo mtu anapewa 200. By the way, let me tell you Njiro, the failure we have, and I'm telling you this because I've participated 100% in these movements, in these parties, yeah, actively since when I got very active from grassroots level all the way up from 2010. That is when nilivua juga nika participate 100%. Yeah, before then of course I was participating lakini nini, but I studied nikakuta we are a total disconnect. Parties are a total disconnect with the actual voter. And in general, I want to give you an example, which I know you have forgotten. during the Mbere by election, you and I happened to get in contact with actual voter through what we were doing with ile mini monitoring tulifanya to get the feel of how things were going. We got in within a very short moment, that full day of voting, we experienced the direct contact with the voters while being ukiwa US, tukiwa huko diaspora, we got to the ground more than many other people, because you talked to somebody anaenda kuvote, you talk to somebody who wanted to go and vote but angeweza, you talked to somebody when they were being beaten. So now tell me, when you are on TV or on channel talking these theories, huyo mtu uliongea na yeye, huyo mama uliongea na yeye, anasikia hizi vitu unasema? You get the disconnect in zero.
Actually, PK, hiyo ni sawa, hiyo nimekubali, because I've already been told about by many people. Watu wamesema our shows are very difficult. That is what I was told. Somebody reacted. I think mtu aliona video zetu and maybe akaniambia like we could be making sense, but our catchment will be very small, because maybe told me like, maybe if we are building a channel for 2015 is our, but a channel for 2025, 2026, they cannot be able to relate with what we are saying here, because wale watu tunadeal na wao ni watu wa kununuliwa mapombe na wanabadilisha msimamo. So that's what one person told me. So like he was like trying to tell me that we need to look for a formula to incorporate Mulala Hoi to become part of our audience. So it's something I'm trying to research. Sasa sijui hapo tunipike tutafanyaje au walala hoi wala watu, because there are so many people who can actually benefit from what we are doing, but we are actually under communicating. That's what I was told. Like we are under.
Now let me tell you that this is the formula I was even giving. I told you I wrote a paper when I was in ODM and all that. I wrote a 3-page formula of how to get into these things, and I wrote to them because it as a party wako na pesa na kila kitu, so reaching the grassroots is not a problem. Jiru, even with the channel, the diaspora claim to have money and all these kind of a thing, but you cannot have this kind of a channel. You are discussing and somebody in the village is not able to even access or listen to you. Okay, remember I gave this idea. If you could talk, begin with even 3 spots. Okay, something similar to what you would call bunge la mwananchi. Assuming you get a spot in one of the areas where these people meet, even if it's a boda shed, it's an example I'm giving you. A boda shed, or because everywhere you go kuna mahali wananchi, they need to discuss politics. Very credible. And you may call them some people waziiti bunge la wananchi, but you find people there discussing the whole day. How about if these people, for example, if they are somewhere where there is a building, then there is somewhere they are supported, there is a TV, you know, that they can access. Like now, this what discussion, somebody can project it on a smart TV, and people start listening and hear and asking questions. That is possible, is achievable, and if it's even faster achievable if you sell the idea to any party that cares. But will they want to do that? That requires some little investment. Okay, that requires some donation in terms of, for example, you volunteer to buy that TV, and you volunteer to support the people there, and then they'll take care of the rest. Not a lot of money. If somebody does that, another one does that, then people can be coming. Hata kama ni mara mbili kwa wiki wanasema acha tuende tusikie ile siasa. Leo kuna ile international YouTube ambayo kuna majamaa wanaongeanga from all over US na nini, then they come wanakuja wanasikiza hizi vitu tunabonga. You know that time unaongelesha ule mtu angekuja kutoa 200, wewe unamstrengthen, unamwambia hiyo 200 unaweza sosi, hamna shida, but remember the bigger problem is this. The bigger problem is this. And then they listen to a few of us analyzing and showing all those big problems. For example, even what now the Comfort was discussing, that wanasikiza Comfort akiongea, akipraise, akibonga, how energetic the Gen Zs are and all that. And people are there listening because these are the voters. Okay? So we have, lazima tushuke mashinani. Na lazima through volunteers, you know, other than just talking. Toeni hizo madola bana, changeni. And as I said, muchange pia, you support some of those wale wanataka kwenda kukuwa leaders, because you have to start by looking and creating leaders to implement these things that we are talking about, because whatever we are talking about has to be implemented. And they are only implemented through leadership. And leaders will only come from those communities. Okay? It's a journey that is not very far away. It's a journey that can peak very quickly. Now, when I jump over to parties, why parties fail? They fail because they don't want to release pesa to support the voter. The money is eaten by the elite at the boardroom level. Okay, umesikia hizi story, agents not being paid, inakuwa merry go round. The money is eaten by the who is who hapa juu, yeah, hao ndio wanakula, alafu ule atapiga kura anapelekewa shilingi 50. Right? So we have, number one, a very long journey to being realistic, but it is very short if we can bite the bullet and call a spade a spade. Hii haina mathiori mingi. Ask yourself, why is it that Ruto was able to mobilize 17,000 people? How did he do that? He spent money, although anatumia pesa zetu. He spent money. He used his network, because ako serikalini, ako kwa machifu wako huko nini na nini. So even opposition can also do similar with less finances, because the people are willing, people are in the opposition, so they only need to be told, jameni, hapa ni lazima tufanye hivi na hivi na hivi. And the opposition doesn't need to bring 17,000 people mahali pamoja. No, it is opposition going to that mwananchi. Hapo nimekwambia, hapo wanakuanga kwa kiosk ya bodaboda, umepitia hapo ukaongea nao kama 30 minutes, umetoka umeenda. That is the work that we are supposed to do, reach out to these people. Yeah, matheory hizi zingine za huku boda nini, ni ile tulikuwa tunaita katapwe. Back to you, Njiro.
Equalization Fund, pesa ya CDF kuja kwa mtano wamerisifu more than shillings. Najua uliona gavana wa Wajir akinipigia jana kusema amefanya kazi nini wa mchallenge ndio anarudia mimi message ya Wajir tu shule moja ya watoto wale wasiki left to one for the whole na haina maji haina choo. Wajir Wajir wamepata 99.6 bilioni. Sasa unatarajia pesa ipo wapi? Watoto wanasoma kialiti, hospitali hakuna, ofisi ya gavana tujue haina stima, Mandera haina stima. Wakati ya Ramadhani, tunaingia Ramadhani kuanzia mwezi ujao, watu walikuwa wanaenda Wuhan kutafuta ice across border, kuja kutafuta ice kwa sababu hakuna stima. Hii kama wajia wako na 99 bilioni, Marsabit 76 bilioni, Garissa 1 bilioni, Mandera 119 bilioni, Kisumu 46 bilioni, barabara, shule hakuna, slaughterhouse hakuna, nothing. CDF Mandera peke yake katika the six constituency, Mandera East so far CDF wamepata 1.6 bilioni, Mandera West 1.7 bilioni, Mandera North 1.8 bilioni, Mandera South 1.8 bilioni, Garissa 1.5, Bafi 1.8. Hakuna shule. Ukija hapa ni sila ambao mashule kila mahali watoto wanasoma. Jienda hapa Kajiado hapa Wasomali wanakaa uliza nao Kajiado ndio mheshimiwa anaitwa Gowon amechaguliwa juzi hizo mwaka tatu, amejaa sasa shule Kajiado watoto wa Somali wengine wanasoma huko wanasoma hii pesa ya CDF hizi redio zimetiwa zinapaswa kusoma hapa hivi swali. Mjumbe amekuwa amechaguliwa 25 years. Mjumbe pale Dada I don't know is not on the ground. Pesa ya dia hiyo vile hapa kwetu nyumbani. Every word Mandera kubudu iko makasiri iko boho iko inafaa kama kana pesa inaweza jenga alliance high school moja, inaweza jenga inaweza jenga katika nataka kuuliza wakaaji wa Garissa pia Mandera kwa sababu mkatishe viongozi wa nchi waulize hii ndio kwa kama natoa pesa wapi moja na mnapatiwa pesa inatosha, kila mjumbe anapata 150 million every year. Yeye unaenda wapi? Moja pesa mnapatiwa inatoshana yao inaonekana yeye niko wapi? Tuoneshe shule hii jenga, tuoneshe hii watoto wanasoma chini ya miti. Is a shame ya pesa imeletwa Northern Kenya sisi wanasoma chini ya miti. Kama hiyo wajumbe walikuwa hapa Kiambu wangepigwa mbao kiboko, wangepigwa mbao kiboko. Amtaje hapa kama ingekuwa ni hapa wangepelekwa sokoni kutolewa nguo na kuchapa ati umepata pesa hiyo yote na hakuna shule, watoto wanasoma chini ya miti, hakuna maji, kuna choo, kuna stima, kuna darasa, kuna walimu. How do you explain? Why are these facilities not there? Number two, nilikuwa pale between 2017 and 2020. Sisi tulikuwa tukimaliza bunge Thursday tunateremka, tunaenda kuzunguka kuona ndio kupanga, tunarudi Jumatatu jioni, tunakatiwa maili kuweka gari mafuta na kurudi. Hawa wabunge are not kwa hiyo wako Nairobi, wako Dubai, hawaendi. They don't go to the stay Nairobi. Juzi tumesema waendaji wanafanyia kazi Nairobi, wakaita press conference Nairobi kukanusha ya kwamba ati wakai Nairobi, wanaita press conference wabunge ya Mandera na Wajir ndio wanapata pesa mingi zaidi kila mwezi ya usafiri. Nilitaka kusema Mandera na Mandera huko hii pesa wanakuwa hawaendi kwa sababu unalipo kwenda kwa sisi kama huu wako sasa. Ningetaka kujua watu saa hii na Wajir na Garissa kama wameona heshima saa hii tu. Nimesema nitaita hii ndio gavana wa Wajir kutoka Dubai amekuja kunijibu. Wanapumzika. Mafundisho wa watoto wenu kwa nini hawaendi Wajir? Somea na watu wengine wanasema huko hakuna usalama na hakuna facilities na hakuna maji. Sasa watoto wa wale watu waweze kuja Nairobi, waweze kwenda Mombasa, hawatafanya nini? So wanaishi kwa hakuna facilities, hakuna maji. Mimi nataka kuuliza wapiga kura ya Mandera, Wajir na ya aina gani? Yale ni nini? Mtakubali namna gani mchague Ruto mwaka 20 hakuna kazi anafanya, hakuje ground, anakaa Nairobi na kumchagua watu wazee wamesema. Mambo naendelea kulalamika, mambo ya umaskini, mambo ya watoto kuhangaika. Hakuna pahali Kenya akina mama 4% wakijifungua na chumba nyumbani. Hakuna pahali Kenya rate ya watoto na mama wakijifungua iko juu kama na ndio minister mimi na watu kura ya Garissa na Wajir na Mandera. Na ndio nataka nisiongee na Nairobi kwa sababu hii maswali mimi nauliza. Mimi nitakubali na wako na pesa, wamepewa pesa, haitumiki. Na uko kwamba kusema ninaona ilikuwa kwamba gavana na Mandera anajenga 124 hapa karibu na hapo. Alikuwa na kesi na shule, iko shamba ya shule, wanapigania na shule hizo flats. 120 cost of building a flat in Nairobi is about 20 million. Baada inakuja na uso 3 milioni. Because the cost of 2.4 billion. Huyu gavana alikuwa hii pesa anatoa wapi? Kwa sababu ya Mandera wajiulize kwa nini, what is the relationship between hii mjengo ya 2.4 billion iko Nairobi na kukosa 80% in Mandera. Hawa waheshimiwa mimi sina baya, lakini lazima ukweli useme hii mall yote iko hapa ni hao mall yao, maflati ni yao, labda mtu amenunua, South Sea wamenunua. Mimi sisemi wasinunue, kama wako na pesa, kwa nini hawezi jenga Garissa? Kwa nini hawezi jenga Mandera? Kwa nini hawezi jenga kwa nini hawezi jenga Isiolo? Kwa nini kila kitu kinajengwa kwa Nairobi? Kwa nini hata hii pesa kama mnaiba, kama lazima muibe, si mbele nyumbani? Hivi wapo kusii simu ile, alafu kuliko kujenga hizi, kuliko kujenga pesa, kuliko kujenga labda wewe mjenge huko kwa mkijaba kwa ona hotel ndio baada heshimiwa. Ukienda Dubai heshimiwa, ukienda kwa Cape Town baada the president anaonyesha aflas ya heshimiwa kutoka North Kenya. Nilikuwa mbali na DSS yote ni waheshimiwa kutoka Northern Kenya. Sasa hatusisemi hiyo waheshimiwa wasijenge, hapana, ni haki yao, lakini si wafanye kazi nyumbani. Why are you building more when there are no schools where you come from? There's no school hapo nje. Mtu anapigia simu, watu wanasoma kwa miti kuliko hii. Hata hii, hata kama ni pesa yako hii tu, unajenga maflats hapa, si usikilie wapi ya nyumbani huruma, uchukue 50 milioni peke yake out of 2.4 hapo nje kwako, uende mjenge kashule kazuri, watoto wenu hapo nyumbani wasome. Na mimi naambia hao viongozi, ndio walikuwa naita mimi mkabila, kwa sababu huyu mtu alikwambia hao vijiji kukosana na yeye kwa sababu ya kuongea ukweli. Na yeye akija kwa kweli kweli mtapata shida. Subiri mbadilike jina ni mkabila, anakuja Wasomali. Hiyo akiongea asisikizo. Lakini Wasomali wanajua ukweli. Waborana wanajua ukweli. Vijiji ni mtu kuongea ukweli. Na mimi na jamii ya Wasomali wanajua ukweli. Wacha ukweli sasa. For how long watu wanaendelea, watu ya Garissa, watu ya Wajir, watu ya Marsabit, watu ya Soni wataendelea kuumia na pesa iko ya kufanya kazi. Mimi nilisema juzi, si kusema watoto wa Wajir nje ya Mungu. Nilisema ni makosa watu wa Kiambu wajenge mashule, watu na Wajir wapatiwe pesa wajenge mashule, wakatae kujenga.
Story PK react to that.
It's interesting because nothing new, of course, but the good thing is that now the new thing here is close to what my last submission was. How do you reach the voter? And this is one way of doing it. Yeah, it's one way of doing it. When you talk to the radios hizo ambazo hawa watazisikiza. I hope hizo ni local. That must have been one of the local stations za radio ambazo zinasikika huko upande wa Mandera and the rest. But before I comment on what he's saying, let me make sure comment juu ya what wa Muchomba, the vernacular thing that you played earlier. Wa Muchomba akibash Gachagua, and she's out gun blazing kujaribu ku lead the onslaught on Gachagua. One thing also I would want us actually to personally I would ignore or downplay and not make any hulabaloo about Muthoni wa Muchomba. Where all what she's saying, blah blah blah, yeah, those are things that may have happened, and most likely they happened. The deputy quarreling with the president, that is very good. It's very, very good indeed. I'm even happy to hear that at one time someone was banging the table, because I personally I appreciate sometimes when you have to make things to emphasize on maneno, because if you are my boss and you're trying to give me shit just because you are the boss, I cannot just swallow that nonsense. Okay, as much as people talk of protocol, but when we are in the office, I cannot just be a bootlicker. And because one of the worst positions that one can hold, in my opinion, is any position that is second. You are being told you were the assistant wa, wewe ni deputy wa. that position, you have two choices. Either if you want to survive there, you just become a total bootlicker, and you are a yes person. Even the way those positions are designed are that you are the deputy and you can only have work when you are assigned by what the top person decides to do. So if he decides wewe leo utakaa kwa ofisi ukisoma gazeti peke yake, that's what you're gonna do. All right. And some people who are workers, they get tired about that, and you start to initiate and create things that you think would support the general objective. But some bosses don't like that. You may be lucky to find one who would want and bring your ideas on board. Anyway, so for me to hear Wamchomba saying, oh, sijui, this is what they disagreed because of this and that, this was all they just show me of a woman that is so desperate, a woman that has ni kama jittered, mtu amekosana na bwanake na unajua ukweli kabisa mumekosana ile hata kurudi hata kukubali ukuje karibu na yeye. Lastly, I don't think Gachagua needs Wamchomba. I don't think so. It is. I don't think as of now, as much as people may say whatever they want to say, I do not really think that Gachagua needs Wamchomba. It is the other way around. Honestly, it is the other way around. And when it is a situation whereby I don't need you, it's you who needs me, and then you are the one bickering loudest. It's a very precarious situation. So Wamuchomba is only safe because she doesn't, Kachagua doesn't need her. She's only needed, or she will have to bolt to UDA where she belongs. That is where she should stay. Even that time when she was trying to ruka like that, and she was aliruka hivyo akamistep because she exposed to what what she is, and that's why in politics your death can be caused politically can be caused by a very simple mistake. Kwanza hiyo hutaganeria, unaruka hapa unarudi unaruka hapa, people wanakushukishaga hadi yako inashuka kama ulikuwa 60% wanakuteremsha mpaka 20%, then now you struggle to build it up. So for her, she has no other option but to start now wakubaliane na mambo ya room 350 moving forward. Otherwise I don't think even Gachagua should even bother to try and even respond to her. I will be very disappointed indeed if Gachagua takes the mic to respond to Muthoni wa Mchomba. Atakuwa amenizusha sana Gachagua. Gachagua, if you listen to me, please don't respond to Muthoni. Achana na yeye. Your dogs can bark at her, huko chini. Mwachie ma MCA huko wa deal na yeye na ule jamaa wako ule wa youth. Au wanaweza kudeal na Muthoni wa Mchomba. Yeah? Otherwise, hiyo ni nini? Coming to the enumeration, of non-performing leaders, this is a very good thing. I know I saw when he was doing it live, I was there also. And I saw some people insulting him. Not many, because I was trying to follow the comment section when it was live. I wanted to see how many are praising that, and I would pick any negative comments. Do you know, during all that interview, I picked two comments that were negative, of course. And one, I realized this is a bitter person, because ukiona mtu ana comment mpaka anasema umbwa wewe, huyo ni mtu akona zake. But majority of people are saying thank you for doing this. Yeah, because this is how they have been fooled since 1962, since independence. And it is not only Somaliland. I mean, it is not only Northeastern. Most of these other constituencies, yeah, only that people don't have guts to echo that. So this is one thing I'm really so happy about Gachagua, having the guts to expose and say all that. Okay. And even I also wrote a comment when there was this question that there is a youth, kuna vijana wamedevelop app ambayo wanaita kualika Muhesh, sijui Wahesh wa huko. I tweeted to him nikamwambia he should actually even pick that and say he will consult friends wajaribu kufund those youth, ndio hiyo program waitoe haraka na ifanywe ya kila mahali other than northeastern. Hiyo app ikuje, hiyo ya kuanalyze what the MPs have done since they've been, how long they've been there and all that. It is an interesting thing. And wow, this is where I'm so happy with the youth. So I tweeted and said, please, can you just, and but unfortunately, I think he didn't read that tweet. He should have said, together with his friends in opposition and all that, they will support that. What support how vijana hiyo kitu ikuwe launched. Now, actually, the opposition should have even taken that right. Now, why participate in that launching? Because it's a wonderful, wonderful tool that I can go to that I can go to the internet ninaweka MP wangu inatoa in a very quick manner what he has, how long he has been there, the project, how much money he has gotten, and the actual project he has done. I'm feeling so excited about that app. I hope they will be able to bring it up. Back to you, Njero.
Yeah, Misawa. Yeah, thank you for detailing what you saw in Gachagua, and that positivity at least for unajua Gachagua, kuna kitu moja nimekuja kulana Gachagua. Gachagua nimekuja kujua Gachagua. I think Gachagua is a very bright man, by the way, Bwana Stony PK, because I think Gachagua is creative. Sababu vitu zingine Gachagua, like some discussions which Gachagua is able to invoke, I don't think you need to be a regular politician. Initially, when he says something, you might think it is controversial. But ukisikiliza Gachagua, some of the things he speaks, they have some broader base application. Unaweza fikiria Gachagua hii kitu anasema, although one of the things which made Gachagua look very bad is when he has been accused as the proponent of the shareholder narrative, which people always want to refer, and actually that is what has been propped as a tribalism, to the extent that now that they are even financing people to speak ill against him. Bwana Stonipiga, can you imagine ati Gathoni anatokezea ati kusema ati Gachagua ati alipigia Ruto meza ndiye alifukuzwa kazi? Have you heard that?
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Nimesema in my submission sahi, nimesema mi hata bosi wangu naweza mpiga mangumi, hata maedi tunaweza pigana kwa ofisi, physical. I mean, depending on what the argument is all about, and there's nothing strange. When I was in South Sudan, Salva Kiir na Riek Machar walitoanea bunduki. Ala, what are we talking about? Walitoa na bunduki zikafiatuliwa huko hiyo state house yao. Yeah, so for me that is no more. I want men to argue and even washikane mashati. That, I mean, because like me, if I were Uhuru, I would not have had anything going on, what was going on with the Ruto. I would call him in the office, nimwambie tuna discuss na hapo tutararuana mahedi ile proper. Kuna saa inafikanga mpaka inakuwa sasa hii madharau, wacha tuimalize streetwise. I mean, for me, honestly, I don't see anything strange in that, and I don't see any mileage that this woman is getting by saying Gachagua ali bang table. I can bang table any time when you give me shit, you know, and of course, you know, knowing what you had agreed. Maybe walikuwa wamekubaliana kuiba nini, huyu mmoja akaiba zaidi na huyu, you know, there are things that even Gachagua does not tell us. That Gachagua, as much as he is talking these other things, kuna zingine zile zao na Ruto inaitwaje, intricate hiyo kizungu hiyo, there is kuna kitu ya ndani ile they don't want to tell us. There are deals they had cut for Gachagua to vehemently support Ruto the way he did. that vehement way of supporting Ruto, there was something innate ambao walikuwa wamekubaliana. Unfortunately, Ruto hakujua huyu huwezi ibia Mkikuyu hivyo ovyo ovyo hivyo, na hakujua Gachagua si Uhuru, so ikabackfire, ikakuwa simba wawili hawawezi kaa zizi moja. So I don't credit Gachagua so much because there is something serious he has, and he will never tell us, okay, of exactly the rot between him and Ruto. Kuna something very sinister. But I accolade him for later trying to, and this is where now I can say he's clever. He has to bring in these other very exciting things ndio watu wasahau kuuliza in depth, what is it, mlikosania nini? Juu hujatuambia, hujasema. What you are saying ni hizi za hapa juu okay. Sasa na ndio naona huyu mdhani wa Mchomba ati anakuja sasa kuanza kuweka hiyo narrative. Huwezi uza ati walikosana, sijui alifuta watu gani akaweka watu gani, sijui walikuwa hii kiti ilikuwa ya huyu, and that is even more rotten, both parties. I mean, hiyo kuanza kugawagawa vitu ovyo ovyo hivyo, it means that they were forming what I would call a selfish government. It was not a government of inclusivity, whereby they would or they would give people things with merit. And no wonder you see what Ruto has as his people who are living. It's mediocrity, because it was not about merit. So that I don't give it a lot of whatever. They were both poor. And that's why I don't believe Gachagua can make a good president. By the way, this I say openly. Because for me, anybody who doesn't go for merit, unaenda for Njiro ni wetu, alitafuta kura mingi, there I lose you.
So, Stony PK, what do you make of that optics from Gachagua?
Which one? Hii amevaa nini? Hii ni Jubilee.
Ona hapo juu vile pameandikwa.
Niko kwa simu nisomee.
Yeah, he is Gachagua is coming. Maybe I wanted to explain this. Maybe you can give me 2 minutes to explain,
Go ahead.
Gachagua is aligning into nationalist politics, if I put him in the prism of the world. So nationalist politics are those people who believe that people should inherently take keen interest of their issues first, just like the same nationalistic interest from European and even American politics. So Gachagua was spotted by that heart, with that heart, make Kenya great again. So what do you think about it?
That's nonsense. Chana na hiyo. For me, hiyo ni nonsense. Hiyo awache, atajichanganya. Awache kupoteza line yake. Hiyo line ameenda, the words he needs to delete from his talking na nini. Awache sasa kuongea about mulima sana. Awache kusema my people, because that has disgraced him. Okay? Awache my people, aanze kusema Kenyans. Na delete hiyo kabisa.
Kenya now. When you think make Kenya great again, that is Kenya.
No, hiyo ni ya Trump. He should put that garbage away. Let him. He's a literature guy. He should have better phrases. Hiyo awache hiyo kabisa. Hiyo, in my own opinion, anything inafuatia huyu mgondi wa huku ni achane nayo. He has a lot of intelligence. He doesn't have to have those kind of slogan. Wakenya hata hawahitaji hiyo slogan. Niambie Gen Z wana maslogan. Na Kenya, by the way, we don't need slogan. We need a philosophy that will be able to take us, to move forward. Because a slogan inaisha, okay? But a philosophy, what is it that we want to do? Like what he has been propagating, that we have to go back, dissolve all those things that are not working, offer solution. And the solution they are offering, and this is another topic I wanted to cover later. Opposition is offering solution. It's not offering slogans and theories. Solution is what? to fix what has been broken. That is the agenda, period. Fixing what Ruto has broken. And Kenyans should stop saying that opposition haina agenda. That's another very tired narrative. Ati halafu unajua Njiru, Wakenya wanahesabu ati other than opposition telling us the health is broken, the education is broken, wanahesabu hizo zote, halafu unasikia mtu ana conclude ati they should tell us something else. Wakenya, what? Njiru, back to you. Unataka uambiwe nini ingine other than what Gachagua is telling you na wale wengine na akina Kalonzo of what should be fixed, what has ile kitu zote zimebreak, na mnalia watoto wako shule, mnalia hospitali hazifanyi, alafu naambia opposition wakuje na agenda. Yani Njiru, wewe ndio labda utanielezea what mimi labda sielewi hiyo concept, but Gachagua achane kukopi huyu jamaa wa huku, achane na hizi maslogan za huku, because this guy is even worse than Ruto in my own opinion. Awache kuchanganya, awache mchanganyiko ile baba alikuwa anasema, ashikilie vile alikuwa anashikilia tu, na reduce kusema watu wa mlima, watu wangu, watu wangu. He doesn't have to copy hizi manini hizo ma tired nini za tired nini za watu wengine. Una make great again by chasing people away. Wala watu wako huku ndio unasema you make it great again after umewakula. Well, wamekusaidia, people have done all they have done for you, built you, and then now you are tired, unasema waende, and that is making it again break whatever. Anyway, I don't like going into politics za hii shenzi ya huku, but for me I think aache hizo imitation. Nilikuwa pia amebaya ya Jubilee. Back to you.
Okay, I think Gachagua was trying to align and maybe also position himself into global politics, because I think he is trying to increase his prism, because when he is talking of Kenya, he is now increasing his prism beyond Mlima Kenya, and I think that one was okay. So Bwana Stone PK, kuna kitu nataka kukuuliza about Bandi jana alisema mbona tunakataa Ruto na venye amefanya kazi mingi. Can you react to that?
Bandi sijui, mi naonanga Bandi, naona ni kama mzee, yani mzee mimi naona at least huwezi muita mtoto wa 2002. Is people of our age, and I tend to think ni mtu amekomaa hadi, na sijui kama Bandi amewahi kuwa MP. I don't know, I'll have to check, nimesahau. I don't know whether he has ever won any position, because Bandi in my own opinion, na vile nimemfuata, even there are reasons why he was never elevated into some serious positions. And even when I listened to some of his reasoning and argument, even like when he went to the parliamentary committee, seriously, I don't see somebody I can really trust when it comes to that kind of position that he's holding. I would not, because when he says Ruto amefanya vitu mingi, and I want us to even begin doing that. Can we list those things that he says Ruto has done? And then on the left hand side, we do two columns. On the left hand side, can we also list things that, okay, 3 columns, things that Ruto has done and they've had negative impact to the country, and then things that Ruto has done that have had positive impact to the country, and then things that he has not done. Then out of that we are able to tell, other than kuambiwa amefanya vitu vingi, Remember, we want to talk about from 20 when they got in with Uhuru. And they have deliberately refused to include Ruto in government when he was in Jubilee. Na hiyo narrative lazima irudishwe. And we want, you see, this is the problem now where you have the opposition being gagged. Opposition wanashindwa kuattack huyu mtu because they have antagonized themselves with Uhuru. Because I keep on hearing that Uhuru is in the game. Uhuru is in the game. Now, if Uhuru is in the game, then this game is lost. Because Uhuru is in the game from which side? Lukewarm, from this side and this side. Mara hapa, mara huku, mara. That is the song ile tulikuwa tunaimba huku ayuko, amkula who? Yeah, because now, what if Uhuru keeps on appearing, then these guys are not able to criticize the period where Ruto and Uhuru are in government, 10 years, because there are things that they did. And as a deputy president, you cannot exclude yourself from there. You are part of that. So the bad things that happen and also the good things that happen. Okay, so we can say during Jubilee time when Ruto was there, and then now during his 3 years, the things that Ruto have done should be highlighted. The worst that he has done that cannot even be erased. Hata akifanya hii Kenya Singapore, tuamke asubuhi tuone Singapore kesho. There are things Ruto has done that cannot be erased. And I think Kenyans, we are very quick to kusahau hiyo vitu. He has performed the worst atrocity that has ever been committed in this country. So when Bandit speaks and talks about the things he has done, for me that's garbage. Back to you.
Yeah, so nimeanzia kuona wale watu wanafuata Ruto wameanzia kutoa scorecard yake, and one of the great leaders wanasema amefanya, and maybe that's something we want to react because I'm getting involved in such project. So one of the legacy thing William wanasema ni ati Ruto ameweza kujenga stadium in the name of Talanta. So Stony PK, I want to ask you, those people are trying to defend Ruto wanasema he is one of the modern politicians in Kenya who has been able to do Talanta Stadium. Na hiyo Talanta, it is something I'm also trying to analyze to see the amount of funding which they are also receiving from FIFA, because Talanta is being done for FIFA tournament, and I think people are not speaking, and I wanted to speak it here. Talanta is a yo uwanja anaringa nayo. Talanta is a consortium between Kenya and the FIFA. So kuna ile pesa, yes, Kenya inatoa pesa, kuna ile pesa Kenya inatoa na kuna ile pesa FIFA inatoa. And then wale watu wanaweka pressure ni FIFA. So if it was like a natural Kenyan project which had no pressure from anywhere. So Stony PK, this is a question, this is something which I'm trying to tell you. Do you think there is a difference between Ruto implementing project as a Kenyan project and Ruto administration implementing a project because another international agency is having interest on that project? Are those two projects the same?
The answer is no, obviously. And I mean, if this, you see, and you know, these are the trends of a conman. These are trends of a crook, and I take advantage of what he is doing under duress as part of his legacy. Any idiot can participate in that kind of a program. Anybody, whoever would have been the president would be there. It's like implementing a program because World Bank wants you to implement. Wanakwambia will be partners. It's their interest. Ama US saa hii wakuja wakwambie tunataka kutengeneza base huko Isiolo, okay? And it's for their own good. wanataka kutengeneza army base na wanataka kutengeneza ikuwe hivi na academy nini for their people to use, and then wewe kazi yako tu ni kukubali hiyo nani, then you go flagging it as if you have done magic. What are the returns on investment in this kind of a thing? I keep on asking. What are the returns? I mean, this is not anything that anybody should go yapping and shouting at it an achievement and all this kind of a thing. Hakuna, it is there, yes, but it is ni urembo tu, ni urembo. There is no economic value here. Most of the time this stadium will be hapo, itaanza kukua kama Nyayo nini, inaanza hata kumea kucrack huko because of lack of usage. Tutakuwa tunaitumia na nini? Ndio FIFA watakuja wafanye hizo nini, whatever, sijui ni FIFA ya 20 ngapi itafanywa, and then we need to hold all the games. It's not anything worth blowing our nini about. That is, you know, ukija uniambie ati Kenya imepartner na certain country kutengeneza the biggest disease research center in Africa, then there for African whatever development of African medicine because of the African diseases, then there I would clap for you, okay, because now that is where all the research zote za Africa badala kutumwa Europe na UK watakuwa wanatuma hapo, you know. So that is something I would really call strategic for the country, and even for whoever would be the president, for having been able to agree, negotiate, and having it done, and if it is done in a most economically viable way, whereby people are not coping and losing, having madeni ile mutalipa sijui for the rest of how many years. So, by the way, I don't see anything really flashy and whatever that I would call that Ruto's legacy. At Talanta. I would not. That's what I think. My opinion. I don't see big deal in it.
Yeah, of course. And that's why we need to educate Kenyans. Any project which has FIFA land pressure will always be delivered, because FIFA needs something and you cannot change FIFA date. So that one, it goes without saying. And if you want to audit Ruto, because hiyo Talanta ndio wanatumia, let him do separation of variables. And we want to do the, like, I was so surprised. Maybe I was speaking with somebody in this who comes in this show of ours today. I was reading, hata kuna mtu alisema hapa, I think I'm being involved in a stadium which is being developed in the US, a big one. And I was surprised that because, you know, sometimes I was trying to compare the way we do construction, the way we are doing construction in Kenya, and the way maybe they are doing construction here, especially for that huge stadium which is being done. And Muringe, the other day, she came here and actually she told us that Talanta Stadium wanatumia watu ngiri 3 every day ati lazima kukuwa na watu ngiri 3 huko. I was shocked. Me, I could not believe that I can be in a site with 50 people. Now watu wako kazi mbaya sana. 50 people ndio wanajenga a very huge stadium. Na wana include watu wa kubendi chuma, watu wa kuweka formwork, watu wa kuendesha matrela, watu wa kuendesha machines, supervisor, 50 people.
For how long? 50 people for how long? What's your timeline?
Our timeline is 1.5 years.
Na Talanta timeline ilikuwa how long?
Hiyo wamejenga for so long. I think
no. Not for so long, bwana. Hey, Talanta ilianza last year, bwana.
So last year when?
Ilianza last year huko, nafikiria mwanzo hiyo kitu inachukua 1 year na few months. Itamalizika wanasema itamalizika by June.
No, it is still 1.5. It is still, that is the typical time for a stadium. Hata hii tunajenga ni 1.5 years full.
Yeah, but no. In terms of labor, unajua sasa huku ni tofauti, the way they do their things. Maybe machinery ni heavy, they use most of the time machine. Kule ni labor intensive, kupeana kazi. That could be Ruto's agenda. Watu vijana wapate kazi wengi and all that kind of a thing. Because he has put a lot of political thing in it. He wants to create that impact. Unaweza pata mahali inatakikana watu 3, ameweka watu 10. You've seen the way people.
That's the reason why our projects cost more.
No. That's not the. By the way, labor, Jiro, you are aware uko that tech. Labor in Kenya is not. It's very cheap.
No, mismanaging of labor. Labor can be cheap, but you mismanage it.
Me, I don't even bring labor anywhere as part of the pesa ya kuiba wameweka buffer. It's very open. You look at that project outline, you see where their money ya kuiba is. It's so obvious. It's lump sum. Imewekwa hapo tu boom. Look at the price. Unapewa initial price ni let's say 1 billion. Then all of a sudden inakuwa cancelled, inapewa mtu mwingine inawekwa 7 billion. Is that labor? If ni labor imeongeza? Hapana, it's blatant stealing. So when you start comparing at one-on-one with what you are doing, you'll be lost because it's not realistic at all. You rubbish hiyo yetu mara moja. Remember how they did the standard gauge, the railway? Did you follow how we did our railway? Did you follow from day one? The SGR. The first quotation.
It kept on ballooning and ballooning and ballooning.
And then Ethiopia did theirs, which was full electrical, full electrical, and they never spent what we spent. Same thing with Tanzania. So wizi yetu ni deadly. Go ahead.
Mi kuna kitu nimekuja kurealize. I now understand the difference of project implementation in Kenya and in Western countries. I supervise the projects in Kenya, and I can tell you, Kenya, we entertain money a lot. Like, what am I engineer wanna supervise? They can easily be hoodwinked using money by the contractor. Like, do you know, maybe Stone PK, you might not be aware of that. Do you know that all supervising engineers in Kenya wanapeangwa pesa ya bure na macontractor just to silence them?
Jiro, when I was in Africa, in my program nilikuwa na engineer wa 6, water engineer, structure and all that, and I was their boss, so I know hiyo yote unaniambia. And mimi nilikuwa hata nafuta wengine job haraka sana cause ni wezi, they are bad. That's why I don't respect them in Kenya, because why are this building collapsing? Jiro, your team, hao watu wako, they are bad. They are as bad as Ruto.
Yeah, so Stone PK, let me explain to you something which has happened, because actually I had to be given an orientation. And it's good to be giving these examples because I had to be given an orientation of how to interact with the contractor. Do you know that maybe, and if there is somebody else who has dealt with a contractor hapa Marekani, if you have been supervising a contractor hapa Marekani, I was shocked. Like, number one, I'm not supposed to take a gift from the contractor. Hata wakiniletea chakula, I'm not supposed to take from them, because the understanding is that if you start taking, even if it is something very retro from them, if you start taking something from them, your judgment will start getting biased. hata wakifanya kitu mbaya ni kama utakuwa unasikia vizuri, ama you will not be glued towards telling them. So and it is something which I've actually learned that hata wakikuja na chakula hapo, you cannot you cannot now seem like you want now to interact with them na unataka ukule chakula yao, because it will blur your judgment to the extent like even communication, there is a form of communication which you have to do. And now I have actually come to understand those ethics. Well, I used to work in Kenya. Saa zingine ulikuwa unaona tu we contractor bana, mbona like, frankly speaking, there is something which I've come to understand. Some of these countries which we think they are developed, they are not doing guesswork. They are doing real work. They are doing vitu ambazo zinaonekana. Like, you see a lot of money which is being spent somewhere, and you can see every money has been apportioned somewhere. Every money has been apportioned somewhere. Hakuna pahali unaona kuna pesa ya wizi. Like, you can see like this is a budget of $1 million per day. You can see fuel ni hii. Na hakuna atipadi ati ni fuel imbo. That fuel can be tied to every equipment, equipment higher. You can tie it. Ati hakuna story ati like in a project you are saying that this amount of money has disappeared. Then I asked my question, why is it that in Kenya and in Africa is this project, this amount of money inapotea? We start another project, this amount of money inapotea. Like, we have just discovered ways of money disappearing. Yani sisi hakuna project tutaifanya na tuseme hiyo project pesa ikupotea. We have never finished a project, even as tunasema and that time even our delivery is not good. The project does not look attractive. Finishes are not good. Stony PK, endo uangalia hata manyumba za, like, go to Kenya right now. Angalia project ya serikali na project ya mtu. Ukiangalia project ya serikali, hata paint haikai mzuri. Finishes are not good. It is not attractive. Lakini go and look at Western Hotel. Go and look at Avai. Those personal transformative projects. You'll be shocked. So, like, we have just decided that, and it's the same thing I always hear Wakenya wakisema, pesa ya serikali ina mwenyewe. Sijui kama Stony PK umesikia hiyo, pesa ya serikali ina mwenyewe. Don't care about it. I think I have come to understand. I think as Africans, we have raw opinion towards safeguarding resources za serikali. And we don't care. We can still, because pesa ya serikali ni ya raia. Pesa ya serikali, that's what I always use. Nasikia watu wakisema pesa ya serikali na mwenyewe. Until I have come to understand, we have no accountability. Joho ndiye huyo. Nasikia sasa Wasomali ndio wana manage SHA. Majority of them, close to 30% of SHA managers, they are all Somalis na ndio wanatuibia na big folk. So there is too much corruption, which we have no formula to solve. And I don't think there is any man in Kenya who will ever solve corruption. I think, for me, we just need to ratify corruption and to say corruption is our way of life. I don't think there is a way in which Kenyans can solve corruption. I think corruption will never be solved. Hiyo ni kitu hata I have already given up. Because tunatoanga hawa tukisema pesa itapotea, tunaingiza wengine pesa itapotea. Like, people are just building from corruption. Ati raia kuna pesa mingi kuliko serikali. Ati Ruto is more endowed. Kama sahi, Bwana Stony PK, you could be shocked. Ruto is having more money than the government. Anyway, you can react.
Ruto is having more money than the government. It's true. Alafu unasema corruption can be eliminated, Njiro. Inaweza isha. If we stopped behaving like a chameleon. Beginning with us, ourselves. You know, we behave like chameleon. We are we try to make a step before you land your foot on where you want to step. Unafanya kiss by kiss, so you don't get it. Yeah. Now, what I mean, we are it is us to achieve that is when we look at some of the things that again, I know people don't want to give credit where it belongs. People have refused to embrace Burkina Faso. Na watu wapende wasipende, that is a legacy, African legacy. Wapende wasipende, mawivu zile watu wako nazo, but true things are happening today in Burkina Faso. Huwezi iba kitu ya serikali cause unanyongwa, pigwa court martial, unapigwa firing squad. Okay, those projects they are doing, huwezi iba, na imesemekana itaendelea hivyo, so you can easily eliminate that, but you need a Traore. So don't lose hope. When you get a Traore up there, number one, most of these thieves will either leave the country ama watajinyonga, and that's why they will do everything possible ndio wasitoke. Okay, but the truth is we cannot get rid of corruption when we go through hii mnaita democratic way. Forget it. Hiyo sahau. Ati tutapata watu wakicorrect hii mistake through hii ati sijui nini democratic, sijui democracy, sijui nini, nothing. We won't go far, but we can get it. Can get it right if somebody comes in and adopts playbook ya Traore. I mean, it's happening, Jiro. Right now in Ghana, the trend is very good, and if they continue like that for the next 20 years, it will be very minimal in Ghana. We are not saying you can eliminate it 100%, but whoever does it at his own risk. That's what we need set forth. Yeah. So I think yes, we can, and I want us to preach to our module as much as we can. Not to squash up down at that is an army government. Then if it's an army government and it's working very well, we could as well get it. We could as well go that way. So you want a civilian government that is full of corruption? Or do you want an army government that is reducing mortality and all that to almost zero, child mortality? Or do you want a government that is full of thieves, but is you are claiming it's democratic and all that kind of a thing? By the way, who is the beneficiary of when things are running well? It's the common man. Yeah, common mwananchi. So for me, I think common mwananchi doesn't care who is in power, so long as it's providing the services. Back to you.
Sawa, wacha nikuwekea huyu jamaa akiwa Meru. Mliniambia siku hizi nisikataenge kumcheza. Wacha nikuwekea akiwa Meru usikie vile anasema. And I hope some of our opposition people are not funneling his narrative.
Hakuna watu kwa comment section leo ama ni aje kuna kaaje?
Okay, so nipike relax kidogo, nataka kwanza tusikie ubeshte. Ngoja usikie.
Hamna shida.
Agenda hawana, sera hawana, plan hawana, hata hata akili. Sasa mimi nakuuliza wewe, mtu wa hapa, tukiwa hata nyota hawana. ati nyota asalala. Hey, kumbe mnawajua wale majamaa. Ati sasa kazi yao ni ukabila, chuki, fitina, vitimbi. Anyway, tunaelewana. Leo si siku ya siasa. Kuna siku tutakuja kuongea mambo ya siasa. Leo tumekuja hapa kufanya nini? Biashara. Tunaelewana? So, mimi nataka niwaeleze, we have a concrete, demonstrable, practical plan to take Kenya to the first world country. Wale wanapinga tu hapa, wanapinga housing, wanapinga SHA, wanapinga securitization, wanapinga privatization, wanapinga kila kitu. Na shida yao kubwa, wanajua ya kwamba we are going to succeed. And I want to tell them, when we succeed, Kenya succeeds. Tunaelewana? We are going to succeed, all of us. Wacheni zenu. Mmekuwa na nafasi yenu.
Tunipike, Best tunamuelewa? Anaongea nini?
Mimi namuelewa.
Hebu sema.
Namuelewa sana. Namuelewa yeye ako kwa Kenya na hao wengine hawako Kenya. Okay? Namuelewa yeye anajua kule anaenda, au watu wengine anaita majamaa hawajui kule yeye anaenda. Okay? Namuelewa yeye ndio the most progressive person in Kenya. Not even president, the most progressive person. Genius wa mambo yote Kenya mzima. What do you call such a person? Mtu kama huyu anaitangwa aje? Hata psychologically, wale wamefanya psychology. Mtu kama huyu unaweza muita nani? Mtu ambaye anasimama kuongea vitu kama hizo, huyo ni mtu mgonjwa. Huyo ni mtu mgonjwa.
Nikienda wa mama wakiwaita narcissist.
Yes. Sasa alafu naona but area binadamu ni nini? Naona hata na crowd huko ina enjoy. Ndio ujue pia wa Kenya. Unajua kuna mtu ana audience, hata ukienda utoe nguo uanze kuenda na barabara ukiwa uchi. Utahaba pulling, watu watakufuata sana wakifurahia ile mambo unafanya. Kuna mmoja alikuanga pale Kiritia, alikuwa anaitwa Mushiro. Alianza tu kimchezo, ile anaenda anapiga karubu kidogo, anakuja anaanza kukatika, kudance. Kidogo anatoa shati, kidogo. Vile amelewa sana, anadance, watu wanafurahi, wengine wakajoke, toa mademu. Ama wamwema, umetoa shati, toa suruali. Katika ile excitement akatoa suruali, akaanza kupiga kamera akiwa uchi. People started cheering mpaka akapull the biggest crowd. Jamaa alienda hapa amenoti. Of course msumari ilikuwa imeregea kidogo, but he became even worse. He started moving around naked because he's being cheered. So these are some of the things that when this guy anaenda, the things he's talking, mpaka ana pull crowd. Na unasikia crowd, but it's really annoying. Hata hiyo crowd iko meri. Is it coached? Nasikia ni sauti za watu wachanga, ni youthful people. So that tells you, yes, wale wamekuja kutoa hizo pesa lazima wachie, lazima waongee hivyo wanaongea, sababu by the end of the day wanatoka na hizo ka 50k ama ni 25. Yeah, so the guy will continue having audience, the money is going to give around, people will go take it. By the way, hiyo pesa hakuna mahali itapeleka hao watu. Hao watu wana solve problem zao za saa hiyo hiyo. And Ruto knows that. And the purpose of kupeana hiyo pesa ni campaign, is buying people. Because out of those, kuna wale watakuwa lured. Watampigia kura juu walipewa pesa fulani, ulipewa hiyo. Because that's the same as ile hustler part. Back to you.
Haya, ni sawa. So huyo best hivyo ndivyo ameongea. Huyo tu nakuwekeanga. Mimi unajua siongeangi stori zake. Brother ya Uhuru. Sijui kama umesikia story ya brother ya Uhuru. Bwana Stone PK.
Brother ya Uhuru ni nani?
Brother ya Uhuru anaitwa Moho, anasema Uhuru is a spoiled rich kid. I'm the spokesman of Kenyatta family.
Mambo ni matatu. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. I have always had time to explain.
I don't want to, I don't think it's that, but nilisoma it was an article. The younger brother to Uhuru. The younger brother to Uhuru, unajua, I think he has gravitated to Ruto. Yule kijana ya ukina Uhuru. He is suggesting that he should be the guy who should be consulted other than Uhuru. That is the news ile ambayo iko.
That's not news, Njiru.
Go ahead.
It's not news. Kenyatta family, the person who was ever being entrusted in management, Kenyatta whatever legacy from Kitambo was Moho and Mama Ngina. That's how it has been all along, throughout, ever since, even before Uhuru became anything. Okay, the only person entrusted in a business entity na kila kitu ya Kenyatta ni Moho na Mama Ngina, not Uhuru. Okay, ni vile sasa walikuwa waongei, but for those who've been in the mix when it comes in terms of hata mapesa za nini, campaign za whatever nini na nini, wanajua hizo mapesa za contribution, wanajua Moho angekataa hakuna kitu inafanyika, inaenda mbele. Yeah, Uhuru came into the limelight just because that's the end of politician and all that kind of a thing. Sitaki kuingilia sana, there are some details ambazo zilikuwa zimetokelezea.
Aya, hebu listen hapa, a very nice story, the kingmaker from the grave. Alafu nitaletea story ya Jubilee. Jubilee pia wamefanya reshuffle kwa chama yao. To this, the kingmaker from the grave.
For over 5 decades, Raila Amolo Odinga wasn't just a politician.
The king is dead. Long live the crown. Joey! 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 Joey!
He was a political ecosystem, a force of nature who shaped, informed, and often divided Kenya's destiny.
The only thing that is going to lack about Raila Odinga in 2027 is his physical presence. But his influence and his imprints will be all over that election. You can be able to see that we are over, is it 2 months or 3 months since we lost Raila Odinga? But I doubt we have gone beyond 2 days without his name on the headline.
His recent sudden passing in India didn't just end a life, it ended an era.
So that is how big and how powerful Raila Odinga was, and we can't wish that away. So trust me, even in the 2027 election, the election will have fingerprints of Raila Odinga all around. In fact, I can argue that some of the politicians and the aspirants will still have images of Raila Odinga on their posters. So he'll still be a very critical deal in the election of 2027 and possibly even in the election of 2032.
Any other person would think that a Luo Nation or a Nyanza bloc is a swing vote for them is dreaming.
But I wish them well that they do find their true identity and what Raila Odinga, a man that I admired, stood for, and why even the numbers in ODM were those numbers.
But in politics, do giants ever truly leave the stage? The official cause of Raila Odinga's death was cardiac arrest. The political diagnosis is an earthquake of a disruption.
Kwenye hii safari sisi tulikuwa abiria na baba alikuwa dereva ya basi hili. Na kuna siku moja tuliamka na tukashtuka. Dereva amekufa. Aliaga dunia. Kidogo kidogo wale walikuwa wameketi mbele wamekimbia kwenye steering wheel. Kila mtu anavuruta pande hii, mtu mwingine pande hii, pande hii, pande hii. Wametusukuma sisi kama abiria, wametusukuma kama magunia. Tuko nyuma. Wamesahau. Na bila tunasema hapa leo, ngojeni. Baba alikufa juzi tu. Tulieni.
As Kenya begins the long march towards the 2027 general election, we ask, in a country defined by its presence for generation, how does it navigate his absence?
He is the Mandela of Kenya, so it will take some time before you can fully erase, and I don't even think you can actually ever fully erase the influence of Raila Odinga on Kenyan politics.
ODM was a formidable political force. And obviously, there are many people who are salivating for ODM, including William Ruto. And they will do everything possible to try to carry favor with the membership of that political party. But that is their issue. And what I witnessed to me is more of the fight for the soul of ODM. What's the real soul of ODM? And I wish them well to try to find the soul of the party and to chart a political future.
This is the story of how a departed kingmaker will script the next chapter from beyond. Nyanza, the undisputed Odinga heartland.
Siaya hamjambo. Amaso jodorwa. Jodorwa untie. Jodorwa umor. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hebu mnisalimie kwa watu wa Siaya Ng'ombe. Yani nyinyi mmeamua kuamua basi ndugu zangu.
But with the patriarch gone, the first war for succession isn't in the party boardroom, it's in the family living room.
The direction will come from Dr. Oburu Oginga, and we've heard his utterances. We hope that the Tari will speak up and clear the air and tell us about the political direction, but we know that he's the one who's presidential candidate. He's the one who will lead the party into a pre-election negotiation.
Oburu Odinga will never be Raila Odinga. Their personality is different. How they have conducted their politics is extremely different. I do not expect to see in Oburu what I would have seen in Raila. And that's why even the mobilization for Kibra yesterday was not to the level of Raila Odinga. Not put even age as a factor, because after all, he's only 2 years older than Raila Odinga. But if it was Raila in Kibra yesterday, it should have been a whole totally different story. So first of all, arguments that try to make him compare him directly with Raila, I think are unfortunate and unfair on him. But what I think he has the capacity to do is, I think he was the right choice for party leader for this time in ODM. Because at a time like now, when ODM is healing from the wound of Raila Odinga, and this is a political party that has very many ambitious people with a lot of energy, sometimes you need a leader who is calm, who can talk to everybody, who can provide a fatherly image. And I think Oburu provides that fatherly image on ODM.
Raila built a giant, but can a son alone inherit it? The cold reality is that none of them possesses 1/100th of his political strength, resources, or charisma.
The only person whose leadership we acknowledge is Dr. Oburu Oginga. It does not matter. You could be Baba's relative, you could be the official that we acknowledge as the party leader. It is not sexually transmitted, it is not genetically, it is only Dr. Oburu Oginga.
What I would advise my people from the Nyanza block, Migori being one of them because that's my home, is that this is a golden opportunity ordainedly given to us to ensure that we are never, ever left or discriminated as it has been. Because that's what they feel. They feel like they've always been sidelined for so long. And any person who comes up purports to try, pretend like they care for us as a region, we give in and then only to be left hanging.
He cannot be cloned. This family struggle isn't just a distraction. It is the first sign of the empire crumbling from within, confusing the loyal base and emboldening rivals.
We only do hope that this conversation should be about the people, not about legacy politicians. Being a deputy party leader of Safina, the less I say about ODM, which is another political party, the better. I should not spend much time discussing another political party and how it organizes its affairs.
The 2027 election will be a referendum on his legacy, but the first verdict is being delivered within his own house. The battle to control his ghost may ensure his political empire dies with him. The kingmaker from the grave may find his most enduring influence is not in choosing the next president, but in exposing how impossible he is to replace.
Haiwezi kuanguka kwa sababu driver yake na mwanzilishi yake ameenda. Nyinyi bado mko na mmenipatia mamlaka ya kukaa kwa hiyo driver seat. Mimi nitaendelea na sitaogopa.
PK, can you react to that documentary, The King from the Grave, The Kingmaker from the Grave? Hiyo ndio documentary, kuna mtu ameandika hiyo. He is trying to insinuate that Raila Odinga hata akiwa kwa kaburi ako na usemi mwingi sana, na ako na uwezo hata wa kuinfluence 2027 even from the grave. Can you react to that?
Wacha nianze na hiyo ya mwisho, hiyo statement ya mwisho umesema ata influence 2027 from the grave. How will he do that? I'll pose that as a question, which maybe we might get the answer. We might qualify it or disqualify it by the end of my presentation. My question is, how do you influence and you are dead and dead, rotting 6 feet down under? Number two, where is Raila's influence right now as we are talking? You see, sometimes things happen, things come into fore when you die. That's the saddest thing. Things that might have been exaggerated, things that might have been overrated, come out to fore when you're not there. In your absence is when you get all the megiros. In Kembere tunaitanga hivyo. Now, who are these that are so excited and are fighting? Who are fighting in terms of the political situation? When ODM is in shambles, is it Kenya? When ODM people are fighting and struggling, who should be, who should not be, how does that become a Kenyan problem? In fact, I would dare say that ODM is a Luo affair as of now. It's only Baba who was trying to bring that national image. But upon his death, and the way they behaved, people from Luo Nyanza behaved, it explained totally, it confirmed what people have been saying behind the scene. And Jiro, you might have heard this. If you have not heard about it, then I would be surprised. People used to say ODM was a Luo party. The rest of those people who are there, despite watu wa Western kuwapale na nini, people still believed and labeled it as a Luo party. Likewise, Jubilee at one time was called Kikuyu party. Because of what? That is how it is in terms of parties in Kenya. All right, its party is associated with the owner and this kind of a thing, and that's why party system will really take time before it becomes, credible that people can now trust. Why is there such a serious struggle, and why was it that there was a hurry to put a chairman even before burying the king? Why was Oburu installed before? Why does that happen? Maybe if it's a president that had died, do you swear in another? I don't know how long it takes to swear in another president, but I tend to think there is always an acting period of whoever has been the deputy or something like that. What was that hurry quickly to make Oburu of all the people? Why pick on Oburu? Because this is a Luo affair. It's a family, not even Luo now. It's a family thing. It's an Odinga thing. It's not even a Jaramogi thing, but it's an Odinga thing. Where Odinga thing is Winnie and the rest, and Ida. Oburu is just a member of ODM. And if anything, politically, Oburu is not one of the most active ODM members. There are no parameters that you can put logically that pointed to that Oburu was the direct inheritance of Raila's chair. That's one of the goof that you cannot go convincing people now that when ODM is in shambles and all that, it's a national issue. Number three, when now that kind of shenanigan confirms when now Raila himself appointed a few of his people to make an advance entry into the government and pretend that it was not ODM that had gone to UDA. And that's why he had issues to explain that thing. Whenever you ask him, what is it that these guys are doing, then he baptized them and called them experts. The only experts that would go to Ruto to help him fix the country would only come from ODM. They would not come from any other party. They are directly from ODM. And that now, in quotes, brought equity in. How stupid is this? That now brought equity into the country. Now that the Luos have been incorporated, now it's a government of national unity. Can you see that ridiculous thing? Okay, and now Kenyans want to be dragged or to be pulled along. That it is now after ODM and UDA forms a government in 2027 that now the country will have settled into one of the best coalition government that will rescue this country. When a hyena joins the thief, a coalition of a hyena with a what? Which other one eat goats? With a tiger. When they form a coalition against Mbuzi a human being, and you call that a progressive coalition. Remember, Raila joined UDA a long time ago, but he was shy to say it. And I tend to think he decided to say this when he saw his sunset days. He realized now his days are almost over on earth, and the only thing he could do was to make sure that he leaves his family in the safe hands. And the only safe hands was to leave them to go and dine with this murderer, with this thief. Yeah, I'm sure that is what he saw. To him, that was the safest way. Now that I'm going, the best is to leave, to hoodwink the people into UDA. Because as much people are saying, oh, you know, Raila had said they would support this up to 2027 December. What other movement or arrangement would they have made come January 2027? That Raila is going to contest as president against Ruto? Is that what people want to pretend that it would have happened? No. Raila had already moved into UDA, and that's why he had looked for all that excuse. ODM had been sent, had been auctioned to UDA, because that is the only way he was guaranteed some senior positions once they win. And for him, he felt that that is the way he would kill any other opposition, because to him, opposition and resistance in Kenya could only be led by by him, Raila, and his members of ODM. Okay, and that is the narrative and the perception people have, that there cannot be any other opposition in Kenya, and and people are very wrong. You know, you don't have to go shouting out there for you to be known as an opposition person. There is also very serious pressure in silence, and is the worst. Like now, Jiro, I can tell you, the silence you are seeing in Kenya, it's what we call in English airy. It's an area of silence, WERIE, which is lethal, dangerous, terrible. It is bad. And if I were anybody in leadership, I would be very worried. You take an example where you find Kenyans gathering pamoja tu wako kwa stage pale Kencom, wanangoja magari, wanaanza kuimba in unison. Mtu ameanzisha tu chorus, wakaanza kuimba pamoja. You think those people are happy? 5 o'clock saa kutoka job, wengine wameshinda kao wakingojea haso na hakuna, wana njaa, mtu ana njaa na anaanza kuimba. That's dangerous. That is bad. It's not good. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that this analysis that, oh, you know, this man, Raila, will be there in 2027. Yeah, the Luo people, the Luo MPs will keep on bringing his name to his people. Oh, wataka kusolicit kura. Wakisimama mbele ya Wajaka huko Nyanza, watakuwa wakisema, oh ye, usiponipigia kura na unajua afadhali nipigie kura juu baba atafurahi akiwa pale kwa grave. They will like it, they will keep on invoking that, appealing to emotions. Because, you know, if you mention baba to the Wajaka in Nyanza huko, wengine hata wanaweza anza kupiga nduru wakilia. So people will want to invoke his name so that people appear to you know, to appeal to empathy and sympathy from the electorate, which is very possible in Nyanza. Yeah, so that way I believe it is, but not anywhere else in Kenya. Other parts of the country, hiyo mambo amesahau. People only respect that, yes, he was there. I personally respect what he was doing, what he had done for the country. But most of us parted ways that day, which people know. We've not been able to reconcile with that day. and most of us feel that it wasn't to where we are because of what he did that day. And yeah, there are those who have not been able to overcome that. So when somebody says, "Oh, sijui ata influence election," yeah, of course kutakuwa nao watu wa ODM wale wataenda upande hiyo, and of course wajaka with their emotions, they might vote for Ruto. I don't know with the time, because already they have started saying that, oh, we've gotten this since independence, we never got this, since independence, we never got this. How do you regret for being a resistant and fighting for the rights of the people? Then now you start regretting. How would you regret when all the gains we have done? You may not have gained the toilets and all that, but you gained what is making Kenya today, the democratic, the little democracy we have. That is big investment. Back to you, Njiro.
So, Tony PK, I think we can conclude, we call it a day, so that some of us, we can be able to wake up. Yeah, it's 11 something, is going to midnight, so we need to rest. So just you can put your final statement as we close. Tutakutana kesho. Kesho, I might try to open a little bit early.
That was my final statement, that ODM people, hizo narratives wa Kenya wanauziwa hapa za fake, za uongo. ODM is a party just like any other. Shenanigans zao waendelee na zao. ODM ilikuwa imesimamia mambo mazuri sana, but then it slid into, you can't tell the difference between ODM and UDA anymore, because the moment they are now saying they will support UDA, for me, number one, that is unforgivable. Okay, I don't see how it is, all of a sudden in a change, even if it's Raila who did it, but it was wrong and people said it. Okay, so it can never be right. Okay, so the likes of Sifuna, who are very firm on that, I support them. But I also question when people like Babu are fighting to be the chair. Do they want to be given chairmanship and then go to Ruto or what? So that also makes me start wondering, because if today Babu Wino, for example, NDC says he's the chair, what? And then some wazers there insist they are going to be in broad base. Will he resign, or he will go with a faction? So does that guarantee that ODM will be at least two factions? So those are some of the things we need to ask. What are the ideals of ODM? Have they changed? Then they have to tell Kenyans. Tell some of those of us who are members sometimes back, the ideals changed. And when they change, they can be ratified. Then we know they are just like the UDA and all that. That mambo ya kuongea juu ya watu, haki za binadamu, hiyo tusahau. Tujue is just a merchandise party like any other. Back to you. Thank you.
Sounds Tony PK. Sounds Tony PK. So, yeah, anyway, I appreciate our involvement. Tomorrow we will get more time to analyze more. So we still want to continue with the rhetoric which we do here. We hope that watu watatusikia. So Stone, ile redio yako ya mashinani, utuambie when you are engaging your people in the village, we can also relay it here so that people can be able to understand. So I don't know how far you have reached kwa hiyo in your radio ya mashinani. So although ni kama from a look of things, it's like you have remained somehow silent. So I think unarudi lini radio ya mtaa?
Radio mtaa iko. Tulikuwa tumebreak kidogo hii maneno ya season Christmas nini. The last 2 months, the last 1 month tumekuwa tukienda through the Google Meet, but now we'll go back to the channel.
Okay, so once
Yeah.
you kick off, we should be able to conjoin.
Yeah, it became a bit heavy because now people even wanted to be funded. Unajua umaskini ya huko grassroots ni ndio mbaya. People even, once you start anything, they want you to even send the money bundles and all that. So it's like you pay people to to be able to access. That's the challenge. They need empowerment in terms of Wi-Fi centers and all that. But those leaders on the ground, they don't know these things. Can invest small money and have very heavy impact. But I was trying to lobby for some Wi-Fi zinaitwaje zile mobile Wi-Fi gadgets from Safaricom, but wamekuwa wakinizungusha zungusha. Because if I could get them, then the other in terms of loading, they can be able to changa wana load airtime for the session. That's a challenge, but we will see how we're gonna do that. They need a lot of empowerment. Huko nyumbani hao voters wame ukiona mtu anapewa shilingi 50 anaanza kunil down akishukuru, anaanza kusema Ruto ndio mzuri. na uzuri Ruto anajua hivyo. So Ruto is capitalizing on the poverty of the people, and that is why Kenya things cannot change as much as we want and as fast as we want. Napatia mtu 50 bob ana jubilate, my friend. Sasa ukimwambia anunue bundles za 100 ndio aingie kwa discussion anashindwa, sasa tutakuaje? Unajua hao ni youth wale the active ones. Alafu those people are saying, oh, youth are not hawachukui kura wafanye. Nobody is addressing their challenge. Nobody is addressing their challenge. Like now the opposition should be hata wangeenda hata kotini kusurutisha ID zichukuliwe huko kwa chief, si kwa chief, wanaitwa nani siku hizi? Kuna hao watu wanaitwa AC, sijui wanaitwa nani wale wa location, the administrative head of location. Zote zichukuliwe huko, where by youth in particular area they just walk. ID wachukulie huko na nini wachukulie huko pia, inaitwaje hizo voter. Ama la si hivyo waseme unaweza access through your phone. Ukisha register through the phone, then IDs zitumwe kwa chief. Anyway, that is what I think should be done. Sawa Njiru.
Aya, sawa Stony PK, let's meet tomorrow.
All right. Wale wengine kwa comment wote tunawaambia kwa heri, akina good year.
Good night.
Good night.